Hey Skyfarers, and welcome to Aethercast, the Kharadron Overlords channel and podcast. But today, talking all about the new book. Hey, new book. As always, to help me with tonight's show, we have Thunderer from Down Under, Mr. Alexander Cron.
Hello, good to be here and very excited about the new book. Oh boy, I've been waiting for this.
Good to have you as always, Cron. And we have Duarden Prime, Max Bowman.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Very excited.
Yes, cool. And lots of people in the chat by the looks of it. So many that I'm not even going to say names because that would take too long. Although it just dropped by like 10 people as soon as we started. That was a bit weird. But yeah, welcome everyone. Glad to have you all here. And very vocal in the chat. Keep that up because if we've got questions and cool opinions in there, we'll be picking them out as we go ahead. So, news. The show is the news. Okay, there's other news, but we haven't got time to talk about regiments of renown and all that jazz, and corn and other rubbish.
Yeah.
Slanish.
And Slanish.
Regiments look interesting, but I don't think there's anything as interesting as what's in this book right now.
No, cool. Yes. So, but before we do start, we have some shout outs we'd like to do. Basically, to all the cool content creators out there doing lots of KO stuff at the moment. There's basically everyone because it's a new book. So if you can think of a content creator, they're doing something, but go check them out. Obviously, Honest Wargamer, I had all the leaks to begin, so that was very helpful for us. And of course, 10 o'clock this morning, all the cool people doing the memory book stuff. So you had like Coach and Facehammer and Gorilla Miniatures, original memories book, all doing their stuff, which has been really helpful. So yeah, go check them all out to get some more diverse opinions, because the good thing is when there's lots of content creators doing stuff, you get varied opinions, not just ours. And we can't have lots of people on the show because there's just too much to cover.
Yeah.
Have I missed
It's
anyone?
a good day to be a Kharadron Overlord on the internet today.
It's great. It's great.
There is another shout out. Is Warhammer Weekly, of course, will be doing their review a little bit later, and Mr. Matt Barker, that of Aethercast fame, will be on there. So that'd be cool. Go check him out when they do that. And yeah. Oh, and of course we mentioned AOS Coach earlier, but he is going to have Jeremy Vaser on for his interview type thing at some point.
In 2 weeks' time. So when Jeremy has had a couple of games, go check it out. He's a great player. Get that insight.
Yeah. And if you've been watching Aethercast in the past, you will know he's won tournaments in the past with KO, so he knows his stuff. So he's a great guest for Coach to get on. So cool. Let's start talking about some stuff. First of all, of course, we have got the new book, but it's not the only new thing. There is Warscroll cards, a new Vanguard box set, and dice. So cool stuff to spend your monies on.
These are the first KO dice Games Workshop have ever released. They didn't get the funny first edition ones. They didn't get the less funny second edition ones, and now we're on the.
We didn't get bullet shaped ones or something weird.
I would have liked some just metal KO dice, like solid metal. Brass KO dice.
I mean,
would have been cool.
They're not horrible. They have a cool KO face. They're easily legible. You know, the black on the yellow, orange. I don't know what color it is exactly. They're definitely prettier than the Fire Slayer ones. So yeah, if you have a yellow and black Bumblebee army, get them. They look cool, and they still come in 20s. GW has started to pack faction dice in 15 now.
Yeah,
inflation and all. Yeah.
So, but the most exciting thing is probably the Vanguard box, which will replace the Start Collecting, and it's got a frigate in it, some balloon boys, some arcanauts, and an admiral.
Yeah, that's all useful stuff.
Yeah. The frigate, as we'll talk about in a little while, has got very good. So yeah, get your frigates and
get your frigates.
New players, the frigate is just a it's just a fun kit to put together. There's lots of little stuff, lots of little like posings you can do, and it's just a cool looking model.
It is the prettiest boat of them all.
I think so.
But
Yeah, I think it's the best looking
was
because it's kind of sleek.
bad.
And it
Yeah, it's very sleek. It's very cool. But it was just bad, horribly bad. But now it's good.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Oh
So,
boy, we'll get into it.
yeah, but if you're new to the army, then I think it's a good way to start, because from what we've seen so far, Arcanauts, Battle Line, no screen, good. Admiral, good. Balloon Boys, good. Frigate, good. All good stuff.
Yep.
There's nothing bad in that set. I don't know if you'd want multiples.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe one.
I mean, it
sell
depends on
the
the discount,
Admiral to
because
someone else.
2 frigates and then the Admiral's basically free. So
Yeah. Oh, how is there a good saving on the box?
it's because it's £85, and it's what, like £130 worth of stuff. It's like 36% off or something.
The frigate
I
alone
find
is what, £55, £60.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's horribly
So-
expensive when I looked it up because I wanted to buy a third one.
Yeah.
When the
Yeah,
leaks came
especially-
out, I was like, I better buy one before people
Yeah.
start getting them. And then
Yeah.
I found one for very cheap on eBay, thankfully.
Yeah. If you remember, like when KO first came out, and you think about what the prices were then, like it started off a lot cheaper. Cool. But if you're not a fan of orange, then you, as lots of people have mentioned in the chat, the Aethercast dice are much nicer, except for blue, because I've now sold out of blue. Just ignore that.
Does Matt still have blue in the US?
He might do. I feel a bit bad asking him to, because they're his dice.
I
I
thought
bet
he was
he bought-
keeping a stash for us.
Well, he's got a little bit of a stash. They're like his tournament dice. You go to a tournament, you give one away to an opponent or two away to an opponent.
Okay, I thought he had like a story.
And he has a lot,
story.
but I don't think he has enough to start selling 10s and 20s to people.
All right.
Strange.
Although-
Because I've got the gold ones and they rolled terribly, but then I got the blue ones and they rolled really well, and they kind of have taught the gold ones how to roll better.
They're reteaching them. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
they're very cool. I still have the original silver ones,
Yeah.
which you can't get anymore.
Yeah.
Out of production,
out of
limited
production.
limited run.
Oop.
Yeah.
Aethercast dice.
Oop.
Sell those for a fortune nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah. Put them on
Yeah.
eBay. So if you want to support the show and you want to get some dice that aren't orange, then head over to that link. Or if you're really lazy and you don't want to type, there's a link in the description you can actually click on or copy and paste, because you can't from this. And if you want purple, go now, because there's like 20 left. So cool. That's that. And what do we spend the money on? Well, things like this microphone.
Frigates.
It disappears from nowhere. We spent it on frigates. So I recently got a new microphone and boom arm and stuff. Soundproofing for the baby next door. And if you're really keen-eyed, you might have noticed that up there isn't a watermark. Which until recently there has been, because I've just signed up for like an advanced package on StreamYard. So that's that.
New
That's cool.
content coming soon.
So
All
even better, and maybe new mics for Chrono Max soon if you all go buy dice.
So basically, what we're saying, everything goes back into channel.
Yes, I'm
Give
not
you
just
better
like
content. We're
in
not
my
just buying
pockets.
armies. We have all the KO we need, and there's no other armies worth our time out there. Yeah.
yes.
I've just bought a whole bunch of KO. I thought I had all the KO anyway. But I
Yeah.
didn't.
Same.
Oh, that happens every
I mean-
time there's a new book though, because you think you've got everything and you got and then you look and you go, oh, this thing's really good now. And then you look and you're like, okay, well, I can't spam them.
I had a lot of Skywardens.
Look what I
with
found
guns.
in my basement. Like,
Now
still
I need a
lap.
lot of Skywardens with
With-
pikes.
Yeah. I need to sort through all
Oh
my
my God.
Skywardens.
There is a
Look at
prop.
that guy.
Yeah, I
He's-
never thought
he's
I'd
back.
actually build him. The second one, the first one, I made an assassin prime mount,
Yeah.
and then I bought a second box, and then never opened it, and now I did.
Cool.
All right,
Enough trying to get you to buy stuff.
let's get
Cool.
on with what people are here for.
Yeah, so structure of the show, briefly, we're going to start with allegiance abilities, but before we go on to that, just a quick overview of what's happened with Warscrolls, because if you don't know anything about code and you haven't been watching All the Men Read books, then you can't really understand the allegiance abilities until you understand the Warscrolls. You can't understand the Warscrolls until you understand the allegiance abilities. So just a quick overview, basically. Troop transport is no longer on the Warscroll, but still exists. Hitching has gone, but Sky Riggers, so Endrinworks, Sky Wardens, the Dirigible Guy and Brock, they can all go inside the boat now. Fly High and Disengage are now command-based, so you're going to be doing less of them because you need to spend a command point, and it's basically a command ability. But there are ways to do more than one to a ship in the same phase, which is quite cool because they're separate abilities. Shooting ranges on the whole have probably decreased on average, particularly with the long range guns. There's no 30-inch range guns anymore. But there's a couple that have gone a bit longer. Gone from
24. 24 guns and balloons went down. Yeah, but some went up. And some went from 12 to 15. So
yeah,
it's okay.
Mostly, it's kind of brought the short range guns up a little bit from being very short range up into like middle range, and the long range guns down into middle range. Durability is increased pretty much roughly across the whole army.
Yep.
Not every single Warscroll, but there's been buffs to saves and slightly better healing. And some other things that aren't Warscroll based as well, such as 4+ rally, which is really good.
Yep.
Efficiency buffs are less frequent with no rerolls, but they are impactful. So no flare pistol and all that stuff, or reroll ones, or
there's one reroll ones.
Yes, and it is literally one. It's literally one
dice you can reroll a one.
Reroll one per turn.
Per phase, per turn. But the buffs we have got are impactful, but it's actually also like you can't really stack some of these buffs together too easily either, because you can get some buffs in melee, but some buffs in shooting, and you can't get them both.
Except for rend, it's good to stack rend.
Yeah, what sort of? There's already been an FAQ, but we haven't got to that yet. So for a bit more detail, Thunder's got a 3+ save, which is really good. Made them a bit more durable, and a massive shooting overhaul, which we won't go into in detail now. But generally, they got more attacks, but they got some similar issues to they had before, such as rifles wounding on force and being slow. So you need to transport them somewhere. Arcanauts are similar, but more points. They have got some buffs, but
I don't know about the more points, because some of these points are the pre-FAQ points. So because the book was printed probably last year. So I don't know if that will get adjusted, because Arcanauts are back to 100, Navigators back to 85, Admiral back to 125, and so on. So some of these seem like, let's just keep the current ones. So that might change.
There is a battle scroll due soonish.
April, I think.
So there might get changed in that.
But points change.
You heard it here first. Arcanauts going down. From Max.
I think
Riggers and Wardens, much better in combat now. Much better. Both very good in combat. And their short range shooting has got better as well. So you're not going to be using
short range anymore. That's the
with the Wardens,
Sky Wardens.
Plus, so you're not going to use these guys to sit back and shoot long range so much anymore. You're going to want to get them into the fray.
You could, but they're better.
It's just not as good. And they've got grapnels are now basically a 15-inch teleport, which we'll go into more detail at. But it's something to bear in mind when we talk about allegiance abilities, that you can teleport basically Riggers and Wardens. Ships all got a 3+ save, all of them, which is good. Even the Gunhauler. So that's cool.
Yes.
It's part of that extra durability we mentioned. they all drop bombs when they fly over stuff in normal moves and runs.
And
I want to say
runs.
So not retreats or charges or pile. Yeah, you're not dropping bombs when you pile in or any shenanigans like that. And cannon shells got less swingy is probably the easiest way to sum it up. Cool. And we mentioned frigates are good. They got increased capacity with some abilities and stuff that basically focus them on charging. They can do mortal wounds on the charge, and they can get troops out into combat after the charge, and they have the strikes first effect.
Yeah,
which is cool.
We have seen that on Warhammer Community.
Yes.
That rule already. Also, it's not a Warscroll change, but all those fancy gold tokens that you built and painted, like you don't need them anymore. Ether gold is a thing of the past. That mechanic has gone. That resource management has gone.
Yeah. That's a bit of a shame.
It's a shame, but it's okay because people were just confused. So who has gold and who has painted and what, where, how, what's happening? Yeah.
All I'm saying is I'm glad I never went ahead with making
the tokens
for gold tokens to sell to people. That would have been a big loss. I mean, it was bad enough I was worried about the dice, but then I got lucky with them being orange. But, so cool. And of course, there are Warscroll changes to heroes, but they're sort of just things you need to cover more in detail. But generally, as you know, heroes are going to be given buffs out, and there will be buffs. So bear that in mind when we talk about the allegiance abilities. Cool. So first thing we all need to know about is transport and how it works, because you can't really play KO without understanding that. It's probably the most important thing we need to know. So you can embark troops into a ship, and then you can move your ships around with them embarked, and you can disembark.
Yeah, frigates and ironclads.
Yeah, there's none of this hitching on the side business anymore.
No.
So how do you embark? Well, you can do it during deployment. If the boat is already on the battlefield, you can deploy into the boat, which means there isn't any way to deploy a boat into reserve. But if you could do that, you wouldn't be able to put it in the boat because the boat has to be on the battlefield.
Yeah.
Not that really matters because you can't do it. And then in the movement phase, if a unit ends a move wholly within 3 inches and both the unit and the boat are more than 3 inches from enemy models, then the boat can say, right, you guys get in then. And you get in the boat and you come off the battlefield.
So, yeah. Yep. Shenanigans already starting.
Yes.
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 Because
and it doesn't matter.
Move. It's not a normal move.
Yes.
It's
just a move.
Yes.
In the movement phase.
Yes, in the movement phase, not your movement phase. So in theory, you can redeploy into a boat.
Give yourself an extra 3 inches. And then,
you get wholly within free.
The alpha, you deploy the boat too. Twice.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Or move the boat with a different thing.
And it doesn't matter if the boat has moved or not. So you can move the boat towards a unit, then move the unit towards the boat and get in that way.
Yeah.
So they can sort of drive up and pick them up.
At any point, if you're wholly within free, you can get in.
Yes.
And if there's enough space inside the boat, obviously.
Yes. As long as both you and the boat are not, the unit and the boat are not within 3 inches of enemy models. So there's no hopping into a boat that's in combat or that sort of thing. Okay, so while you're embarked, you still count as being on the battlefield. So that's cool. You measure distances and check visibility to the boat. And for the purposes of visibility, the units inside count as if they're flying, for wildwoods and all that jazz. You're in cover and -1 to hit, which is a little bit of a change because before you were +1 to save rather than in cover. So in theory, that could stack. Which don't worry, because you can't do it now. So
no,
it doesn't matter.
Let's not go there, please.
Yes, we're not going there.
Hey,
it's a change. It's a change, just like 3 inches is a change from the previous.
The main change is it's not a garrison.
Yes.
Garrison rules don't apply. Things that do damage to garrisoned units don't apply.
Yes. You can't contest objectives while you're in the boat, which is a shame.
But always that.
Yeah. and you can't move while you're in a boat. But while the unit is inside the boat, any move the boat makes counts as the unit having made that move.
That type of
FAQ.
move. That type of move. Not
Yes,
that move.
that type of move. Which is
Shenanigans
going to be
and FAQ spotted. Yep.
yes, this is going to be the
Yes.
subject of like all the FAQs forever from now on. Like, get ready for massive arguments and discussions about this. Because it's going to cause lots of problems. And GW put this last bit in the bit about disembarking, but I think it's more relevant for while you're embarked, because what happens if the boat's destroyed while you're inside? Well, you roll a number of dice equal to the number of models inside, and for each one, a model is slain, and any of the others then get to disembark.
Yes, and you choose which model.
Yes.
So
So
no
this is-
more, okay, I'm going to roll for the hero, for the other
Yeah.
hero, for the unit champion, for the special weapon 1, for special weapon 2. No, you just roll 20 dice and then you say, okay, 3 1s, these 3 Arcanauts die. Done.
Yes.
Which
Much
is
quicker, much easier, much
also
more
cool.
convenient.
If you have 20 Arcanauts and an Admiral, you'll
Mhm.
roll 21 dice, and the Admiral dies will only die if you roll 21 ones.
Yeah, or
Right.
you choose him to die.
To have
Yeah.
to kill this one random guy or the Admiral.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Admiral needs to go. I need to save this guy.
So this is a big quality of life improvement. It's
Yeah.
so
It's
much
also,
better.
it speeds up the game so much.
Well, it's not just speeding up. Like I lost my general to this, or like important heroes to this, because I just rolled a 1 for them, or
Yeah.
like the leader for an Arcanaut unit, and then they're like, okay, well, yeah, now that unit hasn't got a leader, so it's just, it's annoying. And one thing I will point out at this stage is another quality of life improvement is that the distance that you can get out is now the same when the ship is destroyed to like normal getting out and getting in.
Yeah.
Because before there was a difference, which was just unnecessarily complicated. So cool. So if you're in the boat and you want to get out, how do you do that? Well, you do it in your movement phase, not the movement phase, your movement phase, as long as the boat hasn't moved. So you can't move the boat and then get guys out normally. There will be exceptions to that later. You set up any units that get out wholly within 3 inches and more than 3 inches from enemy units. And any that can't be set up in this way are slain. So in theory, you could slay your own models, I think.
If you force them to get out, yeah.
Yeah, if you decide to get out. And units can move after getting out of the boat.
Yes.
Which is cool. So generally...
So you can get out of a boat, move the unit wholly within 3 inches of another boat, and get back into that boat.
Yes, because there's
And then
nothing
get
saying you can't get in
out
and
of
out
that
of
boat
a boat
again.
more than once.
And then get out of that other boat on the other side.
Mm.
So potentially moving a hero into a boat, out of the boat, move him into a boat, out of the boat.
No, you can't do that. You can get out of a boat, into a boat, out of a boat, but you can't get into a boat more than once.
You can't get in twice, but you can get out as many times as you want. So
Yes.
yeah, you can jump caught the wrong bus, need to go to a different station, get out, run over, get in the other bus.
You can do a layover basically. The plane lands at the airport, you do a connection, you go off on another plane somewhere else.
Exactly.
So that's cool. But it's kind of nice that everything's consistent now. It's a little... The rules are clearer for the most part, except for that thing about the moves, counting as having done the move. So that's all cool. I'm just reading the chat quickly. How do you guys feel about this? Are you happy?
I am happy about the simplification, and it's not garrisons and so on. I'm a bit disappointed about the wholly within 3 inches part, because it's not a lot of space.
Yeah, and with some of the models, it's better than others. Like, because a 32mm base is like 1.25 inches, so you can't fit 3 of them. It's like if it was just within 3 inches, it would make a big difference.
Yeah.
But things like the old Arcanaut slingshot are not happening so much now. We know where you got out 6 inches and then ran. But cool. Let's move on then to battle traits and stuff. Basically, if you play a KO army, what are you going to do? So, Skyports still exist, but they do less stuff. We'll cover them in a minute. But every army, no matter what Skyport you're from, gets to pick one article, one amendment, and one footnote. Maybe more if you take some certain things later on, but one to start with. So your articles, the first one is Honor is Everything. You can rally on a 4+ instead of a 6+.
You can rally 1 unit on a 4+.
Yes.
Not the entire army at once.
Yeah.
I believe it is 1 unit per turn or something.
You can only issue rally to 1 unit, like really.
Cool. Can you do it with leadership of the alpha?
You can do it with leadership of the alpha.
I didn't write that because I didn't think it was matter.
You can turn once. Oh no, actually it works for multiple units in that case. My bad.
Yeah. Okay.
My bad.
So
no, even better.
Yeah. Running on a 4+.
You can in fact rally the entire army on a 4+.
Well, 3 units.
Well,
if your entire army is 3 units. So yeah, that's really good. Then you have Master of the Skies, which is sky vessels get basically +2 to their movement characteristic.
Yeah, all of your sky vessels.
Yes, all of them. Which doesn't sound
Solid
that
builds.
amazing on paper,
Ooh,
but is significant later on because
it is very good.
Yes, because when you think you can drop bombs and things when you move over them, the extra 2-inch move can be the difference between dropping bombs or not dropping bombs, and various other things, or getting units into range or not getting them into range, that sort of thing. So it is quite good, and there's other ways to buff moves later on.
Yes.
Last article is Settle the Grudges, which is after deployment, but before the first battle round begins, you get to pick 1 enemy unit. And you get +1 to wound for all KO models in your army against that target that unit.
Yes.
So it's okay. It's kind of good.
Remember, there's no more gold to buy triumphs for +1 to wound. So
yeah,
this is, I think, the only source of +1 to wound you can get.
Except for heroes with their best day ever.
For best day ever or in melee. But for
Characters
shooting, this is the only option.
Okay, I just spotted something in the chat from the last thing. Yes, you can still run after getting out of the boat as well.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool. So you get to pick one of those articles, and you get to pick 1 amendment from 3. So one of them is always take what you are owed, which is at the start of the hero phase. You can pick an Archnaut company unit, and that unit counts as 2 models and objectives.
Yeah, and this one is that you pick 1 Arcano company unit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just 1. Which is okay. Good. I think it's good.
It's pretty good because you can choose which one each turn. You can swap and you say, I need to do this battle tactic. Okay, these 10 guys run over there and count as 2.
Yeah, it's not so easy to build around doing cool stuff with it because we don't have like an auto. Well, you can auto run 1 unit, but and you can't with the getting out ships only being wholly within 3 inches. We said they're not so fast now, so
still,
yeah, it's still cool though. Prosecute Wars with all haste is once per turn in the movement phase. A KO unit can run 2d6. So this is what I think is a shame is that you can't. Well, actually, is there a way? No, don't worry. There isn't a way of if you could get both of this and the first one and run that Archnaut unit 2d6, that'd be quite cool. But you can't. But yeah, a 2d6 run.
Solid.
Is pretty good. There is a way to get run and shoot and run and charge on a boat.
Yeah.
So 2d6 run and shoot is pretty good. And drop bombs when you're running as well. And trust to your guns. Once per turn in the shooting phase, you can reroll 1 hit roll for an attack made by a KO unit. So you roll like 20 attacks. If one of them's a 1, you can reroll it. Or if you've got like 4 ones, you can reroll one of the ones. So
yeah.
It's okay.
It's good like, for single shots from boats.
Yeah.
If you want to make sure that hit. But
or maybe
it's
like a cannon from a Thunderer. Because that's wounds on a 2 and it's got good for and 3 damage. But
I would probably pick the run 2d6 out of those three.
Yes, I agree. It is, looking at these, it's my preferred one. But there's option to change these, and there's options to take one more.
Cool. There's probably between the first two, anyway, I think. And then lastly, footnotes, which are all once per battle abilities. So there's no reward without risk. Is you can attempt to charge from 18 inches away with 3d6, which of course we know about from the Warhammer community article. That's really good.
Yep.
Bear in
Very
mind, I'm just going to say now, the battle ram still exists.
Yep.
Which is basically an ogre charge if you don't know what the battle ram is. So, yeah.
Stonehorn charge, to be precise.
Yeah.
4 up.
Yeah, 4 ups. So that's cool.
It also
next
really
one.
helps you glide. So if you fly high 9 inches away and then roll 3d6 charge, good chance you're getting in.
Yeah. Very good chance, yeah. And with a reroll as well, if you spin a CP or not.
Yeah. Cool. Then it's almost guaranteed.
There's no trading with some people. Once per battle, at the end of the enemy shooting phase, one Skyfarer unit that was shot at can be shot at, basically. Can shoot. So you have to be targeted by a shooting attack by the enemy, survive, and then you can use the footnote to shoot back.
Yeah, you don't need to shoot back at that unit that shot at you.
You can shoot at any unit. You don't like being shot at, and so then you decide to start shooting at stuff because you're angry. So that's cool. That's really good, but you have to survive being shot at by something. And so I think that's like a gotcha one, where your opponent, they've got like a weak shooting attack, don't realize you have this, and then whereas other, experienced player will know, I'm just not going to use this shooting attack that doesn't do very much damage because I know it will let you then shoot.
But still, it's a win,
Yeah,
they're not shooting at you.
Yeah, but if you against like a proper really good shooting army, then it won't really help because the thing will die potentially. They get shot. So, but it's still good, and of course you have to be shot at. So if you play against an army that doesn't have any shooting at all, you don't get your footnote. Lastly, without our ships, we are naught. Once per battle, the start of any phase, one sky vessel can receive 2 commands that phase. Spoiler alert, you're going to use that in the movement phase.
Probably, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Could do it in a melee phase, but in combat phase.
Yeah.
I can
Not
see
as
the
good.
melee phase being used as well.
Yeah, but
You really want the Ironclad to stay alive.
all of the attack on
Yes.
an Ironclad is just bleh.
Wow. Double all out defense, really.
Well, you can't do the same one.
You can if you have leadership with the Alpha.
No, but
Yes.
not on the same unit.
Yeah, you can. I read the wording on it. It doesn't say you can't issue the orders to just the same unit.
Yeah,
Normally
but
the
a
unit
unit
can't
cannot
benefit.
receive the same command ability twice.
Yeah, but that's what without our ships we are naught says it can.
No, it
receive
just
the-
it can receive 2 different ones. It doesn't override the I cannot receive the same one more than once.
I don't think there's actually any restriction on receiving the same command more than once, because normally you can't even issue it more than once. So I don't think that's actually
Are
explicitly
you telling me
stated
I
in
can
rules.
all out defense twice with my
I
Ironclad?
think you can
Possibly,
once per
yes.
game. Or redeploy twice.
Fuck redeploy. This is much better if I can all out defense
Yes.
twice.
Anyway, Randall pointed out in the chat relating to there's no trading with some people footnote, because obviously that's in the shooting phase. When you use that, you can use all out attack when you do that shooting in the enemy hero shooting phase, which is cool. So of all of these, which ones are you picking? Because you pick 3, 1 from each column. So the articles, it's probably between the rally and Master of the Skies for the +2 move.
Yes.
I'm all right. Well, I'll just sit here and the advocate for Settle the Grudges.
Okay.
+1 wound, very nice against their Death Star unit. Pick
Yeah.
those
If
chosen.
if you're playing Thunderers, yes.
Yes. You won't want it if you're
I'm
playing
sorry,
Zon.
who
because
am
you
I
want +1.
again?
Yes.
That's all I do. Thunders.
You're,
It's my thing.
you're the person that before the show was telling me that you'd be playing Zon lists. So
Shh. No,
I bet you weren't using it in those lists.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's survey lists, but yeah. All right.
Yeah. Amendments were probably the one of between the top two. Do you agree?
There, I'd go the run 2d6. I think it's the best. But
So it seems you can allow defense twice.
if you use Leadership of the Alpha once per game.
Yeah, because it lets you issue the same command more than once.
Mm-hmm.
One plus
Yes,
save
okay.
Ironclads. Here we come.
No to myself.
Okay, and footnotes. Well, you're probably going to take the 3d6 charge, I think. Or well, actually, no, they're all good. What you're going to do is you're going to take a code, right, so you can use more than one.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I am.
Or
Okay,
there's a
they're all
command
pretty good, to be
ability.
fair.
They're all good, but with a code right, you can cycle through them.
Yes, but you can't use any of them more than once. With that code right ability.
No way to do that.
But yeah, I mean they're all actually the footnotes all are pretty good, but they're all once per game, so that's why they're good. Because there's a lot of uses for our ships with all. Cool. So moving on, you also get Iron Sky commands. So these can be issued by Archon Admirals to any ship within range, obviously, or by sky vessels, but only to themselves. So, okay, so you basically have 3 different abilities. Combat landing is at the end of your movement phase. You basically pick a boat, and that boat receives a command, and any units in the boat can get out at the end of that phase. This one might be subject to an FAQ.
It's a getting out after the ship has moved.
Yes. But
Or
it then goes on to say
high.
that units can't get out, that get out can't move in the same turn.
Yep.
So in theory, if you use this, you can't charge or pile in.
Yep. Fantastic.
Which
It's a very
kinda limits
misleading
its
title.
uses.
Combat.
Yes. And of course, it says you can disembark, which means you have to follow the normal disembark rules, which means you have to get out more than 3 inches from enemy units, even though it doesn't say it in the ability.
Which is fine.
So
well, it says disembark, and disembark entices that rule. Yeah.
Yes, that's what I was pointing out. I don't think just because it doesn't say that you have to be a certain distance away, you can get out into combat, basically, because you can't. Then fly high. This is where fly high has come to now. It's at the end of the movement phase. You can pick a boat that's more than 3 inches from enemy models, and that boat can be removed and set up more than 9 inches from enemy models and 1 inch from terrain. So you can fly high onto objectives now because you don't have to be an inch away from objectives. So that's helpful.
Nice.
You can't fly high out of combat.
No.
Yeah. It is definitely a nerf from the last book, but it's I don't think I think we can still do it as much as we need to. The rest of the book is still pretty maneuverable, and you're not. You can get away with only flying high one book. One boat.
One book.
One book.
One
yeah.
Spoiler alert, if you play against Kron, he's just going to throw the book at you quite literally.
Interesting fact. Yeah, go ahead, Alex.
Sorry. And you can still do a not quite Zilfin move if you use the footnote and fly high and combat landing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So with the footnote, you can do both. So that at first glance is the trick. You fly high, you use the footnote, then you can spend another command point, do combat landing, get your guys out within 6 inches now of the enemy. But moop, you can't charge. You can only shoot.
No.
But it's
You
a way
can
to
shoot.
get Arcanauts in pistol range.
Yes, and to use abilities that you can't use inside a ship that happen in the shooting phase. Spoiler for that, okay. Unfortunately, because it happens at the end of the movement phase, and there is no hero phase moves, there's no flying high and using spell in a bottle.
Quick spell in a
anymore.
bottle, yeah.
No.
So that's unfortunately gone.
Yeah.
But
But there's a plus to fly high. You do not need to keep 1 inch
Mhm.
away from objectives. That's
Yes.
gone. It's
That's one.
just terrain.
huh.
Cool.
Point.
Makes it much easier to land on terrain, on objectives now.
Yes. So there's that. And then disengage. During the movement phase, you can pick a boat that hasn't moved that phase, and that boat and units inside can retreat and shoot. And the reason it says and units inside is because they count as having made the same move that the boat does. So if the boat retreats, they count as having retreated.
That's the thing here. They specifically mentioned that the units inside can also shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas when you give, we will see later, a ship run and shoot, the unit inside also ran and cannot shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Rules as written, which is very annoying.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's cool. And of course, with the footnote, we mentioned that you can combine combat landing and fly high, but you can also combine disengage with fly high. Because you can't fly high out of combat, but you can disengage. There's nothing stopping you moving a ship and then flying high. And getting and disembarking is also at the end of the movement phase. No, just in the movement phase. But it's fly highs at the end of the movement phase, which is after.
Yeah.
So in theory, you could move a boat. Oh no, you can't move a boat and get guys out. Never mind. I was thinking of things you can't do them, but you can move a boat, disengage a boat out of combat.
You can disengage, get out the guys.
Yeah. No.
Then fly high if you want. Why not?
Because you can't get out after a move.
Usually.
Yeah, true.
That's what I was thinking for a second. But you can disengage to get out of combat and then fly high. So
unfortunately, when you do disengage, if you have a unit inside, they won't be able to shoot. Because they will have kind of disengaged.
It even calls out in the ability that they can.
Oh, does it?
Yes. Well,
that unit and any units embarked in it can retreat and still shoot later in a turn.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
wow. That's cool.
That's why I say that's so annoying, because here they understand the problem with having units doing the same type of move, whereas on other parts they either missed it or it's intentional.
Yes.
Yeah.
There is a interesting thing, which is with the footnote, which Randall's just pointed out in the chat, which is if you want to combine these, you need an admiral, because the footnote allows a boat to receive 2 commands, but they can't issue 2 commands per phase. So in order to combine any of these, you need to have an admiral. So you issue 1 with the admiral, 1 with the sky vessel. So there's that. And the Matcha says, so you can move and bomb and then fly high away. Yes, if you use this. So you move, drop bombs on someone, and then fly high with their command.
Yes.
Cool.
Because it's end of movement phase, you can run your boat, and then if you run a 1 and you want to get closer to enemy, you can still fly high.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So, and it's worth mentioning as well that the embarking and everything that we talked about earlier, even though it's not on the Warscrolls of the ships, there's basically a thing on the ship saying that they can use those abilities even when they're not in a KO list. But they can't use these outside of KO. So that's that. Cool. So Skyports, because that's all the stuff you get all the time, and now these are some more things you get to choose. And I think it's fair to say that Skyports a bit disappointing.
No, I mean we've
Some-
seen the other third edition books. They all have these one sentence rules per subfaction.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
the way the game is structured.
KO are better, Max. KO are better.
some have
These aren't bad.
have gotten worse, like Zilfin, obviously, I guess,
Mm.
but some of them are big glow ups.
Yeah. Just remember, KO invented subfactions. So if anyone should have should have flavorful ones, it should be us. So I think it's a bit disappointing for me. I think
do
they should
have as allegiance ability. Yeah, we have the code as well. Like we can.
Mm-hmm.
One problem I've found already. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, please.
One problem I found is now, like with the amount of like subfaction stuff we have with these and the code, explaining like this is what my KO army does to my opponent takes forever at the start of the game. Like, so this army, I get to do this every game, this once per turn, this once per game, and then this subfaction, which gives me this.
Mm-hmm.
And if I want, I can roll a dice and pick these and this and this and change it for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fantastic. No, I think these are not bad. I like that we have, you have the amendment article footnote, and you have the subfaction, and then we'll see traits and artifacts. You can mix and match to your taste now. Before you were very constrained in this building. I want a second engine work. You go Zilfin, you get these 3 things. You have to have this artifact. If you take an admiral, and he's a general, he needs to be that command train. Blah 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 blah. This is just you can do. There's so much more fun to list building, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot more flexibility now, which is cool.
Yes.
I think where I'm disappointed is I would just have liked to have more of the flavor coming from the Skyports rather than
Skyports just the color of your boat.
Yeah, overall, what you get is still good. So that I'm not like disappointed in that we don't get enough allegiance abilities because we get plenty, but it's just where the flavor comes from. So let's talk about in detail what you get. So Barrack Nar is probably the one that got the best.
From the worst to the best.
Yes.
But is it the best?
Oh, it's not necessarily the best, but it had the biggest improvement.
The biggest glow up, I guess.
Yes.
Yes, the biggest. Yeah. So at the start of your hero phase, you can roll a dice, and for every Barrack Knight hero on the battlefield, for each 4+, you get a CP.
You roll a dice. And they fixed it finally.
Yes.
3 years later, it's not just, or since CPs didn't accumulate through the game, but it started each turn. Finally understood that you need to do this start of each round. So
yes, and and actually we have stuff like command abilities now to spend CPs on. Like good ones, so that's cool. Should also mention the Bautnar make Thunderer's battle line as well.
Yes,
so that's cool. Zilfin gives you an extra Endrinwork.
Yeah, it's like the worst part of the 3 rules it previously had. They took that one.
I find that one disappointing because Zilfin is meant. Well, first of all, it's just nowhere near as good as what Zilfin used to be, and as Asmund says in the chat, should we have a minute silence for Zilfin? It's probably
it got the harmed art treatment.
Yeah, but in the lore, Zilfin is meant to be like, oh, we got the fastest ships, so why isn't it a buff to ship's movement, which would be good because then a buff with the ship's movement when you can drop bombs when you move over stuff and that,
because you can get that with an article.
Yeah, Zilfin giving us an extra
2-inch move, and you can get that with an Endrinwork.
Yeah.
So now 2 of your ships can have extra move Endrinworks.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, let's move on because Zilfin is, you're probably not going to take
it. If you play 2 Ironclads, you might consider this.
Yeah,
because Ironclads has the best Endrinworks.
Yeah, that's fair.
I wouldn't go this for Frigates. Yeah. And Frigates are battle line, I think, in this.
Still. Yes, Frigates are battle line.
Actually a good part.
It's probably better more important than it's
than it used to be.
Frigate battle line is nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, challenging Barak Nar for best Skyports Barak Zon, +1 to hit and wound for melee
For
weapons for Skyfarers if they
everyone.
charged.
Skyfarers, not Skywardens, Skyfarers. Everyone that is not a boat.
Yes.
Yes.
On the
This is
charge, +1 hit,
really good.
+1 wound. It is fantastic.
Your whole army, all of anyone who's even slightly good at combat is hitting on 2s and 2s on the charge. It's
Yeah.
hitting and wounding on 2s and 2s.
Or-
the Skywardens,
The
What?
riggers.
You know who isn't? Brock.
Arcanauts.
Brock.
Brock
Yes,
and
because Brock
Dreki.
doesn't get the allegiance abilities yet.
And Dreki, because they are keyworded to their
From a different
subfaction.
Skyport, yes.
Yeah.
But that's really cool. And as we mentioned, Balloon Boys, both variations,
Yes.
got buffs to their melee output.
So, even
So,
better.
and now this buffs them even further. So this is really
Does.
Awesome.
next up, we have Baz, which gives you an extra article, but you can't choose the same article more than once. So those articles we were talking about a little while ago, like the 4+ rally and the extra movement, you can get 2 of those. So that's actually quite good.
And Gunhaulers up Battleline
Yes.
in this.
I don't think you're going to be taking lots of Gunhaulers, but you might want to take one, and that one being Battleline could be helpful.
It's not bad. We should mention Bargzon makes Sky Wardens Battleline also,
Yes.
which is
Which is
also
actually the only
We
way to
have-
get them battle line. The
Yes.
original way of Endrin Master doesn't work anymore.
no. Endrin Master makes Endrin Riggers
Yes.
Battleline, but both types of Endrin Masters. The foot
We
ones.
have a lot more flexibility in Battleline now. It's really
Yeah,
good.
there's plenty of things.
Yeah.
The cool thing that I found about that was the Endrin Master doesn't even have to be the general. You just have to
Yeah.
have one.
Yeah, that's really
Yeah.
good.
You sure?
Yeah, you just have an Endrin Master in the army. You don't have to make them the general.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Oh, that changes my list.
Yeah.
Includes any Endrin Masters.
Yeah.
That's a new
And
one. I never seen
I
that.
don't know if that's going to be like a new thing going forwards for other armies, but
But
if
it
it's
is
gonna
in
be
line
like a-
with it is in line with a command trait we'll see later.
I
So it's really cool.
think what they're
That's
really
that's
trying
awesome.
to push in this army, in this new book, is they want you to take an admiral and they want you to make him your general.
Mhm.
Like that's
Mm.
what I'm getting from this. From some of the rules in here is just please take an admiral and please make him your general. That's what the law should be anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. No.
Mm.
I don't agree.
No,
I think it's just
It's
they've
just
realized
so much
certain
flexibility.
things annoy people, and they've realized that it's good to give people flexibility. And
Well,
so
we
there's quality of life changes, and I think they've realized that we just need to change some of these things.
also what we know that what they do is they check how often does a unit get used,
Hmm.
and the reason some units never got used is also this. Like if I take this, I want him to be general, but then I lose all the battle line options, or I lose this and that, and so that's the reason that you never take him, even if the Warscroll isn't bad. So now they're trying, I think, give you as much freedom to choose units you want, and you're not constrained. Your choice is not constrained by the overall rules of the army.
Yeah.
But it's just whatever you want, pick it and do it, and that's great. That's awesome.
Hmm.
I didn't see that. It's just includes.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, Barrett Mornar. Every time an enemy model issues a command within 12 inches on a 5+, the command is not received and the CP is lost. So the command still counts as being used, so they can't try and use that command somewhere else.
Mhm.
But it's just not received. So
Mhm.
it's
it's okay, but it's on a 5+.
But it's so annoying. You know what? Like
it's
Ye-
within
no
12 inches of
one-
any of your units, right?
Yeah.
any of your units, but it's the the issuing unit. So if they have a hero behind the lines, they can still issue it. No
Yeah.
problem. However, it is pretty good things like your opponent doesn't get to all-out defense. He doesn't get to redeploy. So
Yeah.
Doesn't get to
like,
rally.
he
Doesn't
doesn't
get
get
to
to rally.
pass
It doesn't get to
bravery. So
yeah,
you could
run.
battle shock things off with this.
Yeah, it doesn't get to inspiring presence.
Yeah.
Like
That one.
this can seriously screw your plan.
Yeah.
It's on
the
a 5+.
Nighthaunt, the Kurdos. It's doing what Nighthaunt does, right?
Yeah, but Kurt, he does it like table wide, doesn't he?
No,
doesn't
that
he-
used to be when
Yeah.
he steals. Now his, I think you mean Lady Linder. If she's
Oh,
if you're
yeah.
within 12 of her,
Mm.
she can on a 5-up or 4-up, she can ruin your day. Like the command point is
Mhm.
lost and nothing happens, type of thing. I think, but it is strong. 5-up, yeah. But if it were a 4-up, we'd all be playing this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So
Yeah. The other thing is if it stole the command point, so on a 5+ you got a CP as well. That'd be really good.
that'd be crazy. But
Because
it's not bad.
just-
I think it can be a
Yeah.
very annoying army building into this
Mm.
with a lot of MSU units, covering the whole board and no command points. Because some armies don't function without command points.
Yeah. Okay. Lastly, Barrack Fring. So coalition has gone. There's no coalition in Barrack Fring anymore.
Sad face.
The allegiance ability for Barrack Fring is if you have an allied Duardin that's a priest, that
Mhm.
Duardin knows this prayer. It's answered
In
on a
addition,
3+, has a range of 16 inches, and when you do it, you pick either a unit of Arcanauts or Thunderers, one unit, and unmodified 6s for missile weapons for them do mortals equal to the weapon's damage.
unmodified 6s to hit. Yes.
Yes. And the attack sequence ends.
It's like it's trying to tempt you into doing like trying this skew idea of like get 20 or 30 like 30 Arcanauts with a priest with a bridge, go forth, mortal wounds. Is it a
Mhm.
good idea? I don't know, but that's what they're trying to get you to do.
I mean, mortal
Mm.
wounds on your shooting is good.
It is pretty good. Because if you do mortal wounds, you don't need the rerolls, and you don't care if your unit wounds on a 4.
No, it's good for
Because if it
Thunderers.
does, it is fantastic for Thunderers who have
A
damage
lot of
free
attacks now
weapons
as well.
and a lot of shots.
And they have weapons that do 5 attacks.
Yeah.
So
They have a lot of weapons that do 5 attacks.
yeah.
It is interesting because you would compare this to a curse. Now that coalition is gone, your allied priest cannot select curse.
Mhm.
There's no option to get curse in this army. It is better than curse because you don't need to be within 9 inches of the enemy, but just your own unit needs to be 16 inches away
Yeah.
from the hero. That's just basically you can do this 2 turns. First turn, you fly the ship forward, shoot people. He can run up for 10 inches plus it's 26 inches. He can do it again next turn. No problem. They all know this prayer in addition, so you don't lose on any prayers they know. It is good. It is a way. I think people are still not seeing it or debating that Nar is better or Zon is better because they're more obvious. But this is the whole Ren stacking and all out defense stacking, and you don't care. If you do mortals, it's just poo. And it lasts until the start of your next hero phase. So everyone, as I say, everyone that charges you, if you use that footnote where you shoot someone else, if they shot you, you're just shooting mortals over there with thunders with 18 inches. It's dangerous. It's a danger zone to go anywhere near. And
then you get to unleash hell and you do mortals then as well because you don't care about being -1 to hit.
Priests are great allies because they can dispel endless spells. And the ruler, for example, is 100 points and he gets a +2 to unbind and dispel. So fantastic. Why not?
And we just got some mercenaries who include Rune Lord.
Regiment of
I
Renown.
don't think it's worth it.
It's expensive, but it has good rules, yeah. But
I
more on
think
that in a different show.
Yeah.
But just a Rune Lord on his own is a good because he's got +2 to unbind. So
and he's a Galician champion. Has a small footprint, 25 mil. You can hide him behind your boat, probably.
I was just thinking Fireslayer Priest on Magmadroth. Just go full ham. Get yourself a monster and a priest in the same package.
Yeah, although my personal belief is Magma Rose are not good outside of Fire Slayer Legions because they don't get all the buffs where they go crazy ham damage.
Mhm.
You want that ward save.
You want the extra rend, you want the extra attacks, you want the extra damage, you want everything.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so I think of these, Skyports, Barrack Nar, Barrack Zon,
Yeah.
and Barrack
Well,
Fring are probably the best three.
Yeah, Lee, what were your favorite two?
Favorite two, probably Zon and Nar.
Sonar. What about you, Alex?
Nar, yeah, Zon and Nar.
Sonar.
Battle Line Thunderers or just like twos and twos across the board.
Yeah. Nar is interesting because we need a lot of command points now that Flyheim one is CP heavy and so on. But I'm gonna say Zon and Fring. I like
Yeah, I think
because it's a new option. It's a new play thing. It's mortal wounds. Like, come on, who doesn't like mortal wounds?
I think with Zon, you don't need to play the command point heavy version so much because you're just going to charge in and everything's plus one to hit. You don't need all that attack and
Depends on what kind of list.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think you'll see a lot of skew listens on and and probably something with a bit more balance that is probably going to be better. But everyone will want to do the skew list straight away.
Try the fun toy.
Try it. Everyone's going to want to be taking like how many Sky Wardens can I fit in a Zon list, and then then they realize actually
the answer is 30.
Yes,
the real answer is 30.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's move on because we're already an hour in. Ooh, okay, command traits. So you pick your allegiances and all that stuff, and now you pick to general, hopefully, and you need to give them a command trait. So you've got 6 to choose from. Grudge Bearer is basically what it was before after deployment. But before the first battle round, you pick one enemy hero, and your general gets double damage against that hero for all attacks.
Solid.
Good in combination with that article where you get +1 to wound against one unit.
Yep.
So you can build an assassin. Yep.
6 damage.
If you've got
give your admiral flaming weapon, give him 8 damage.
Yes.
Does the +1 happen before or after the double?
Before. Additions before. No,
other way around.
Multiplayers before addition. So 7 damage. Sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes it bad. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cunning Fleet Master, which is my personal favorite. At the end of the enemy movement phase, you can pick one sky vessel within 12 inches of your general, and more than 12 inches from enemy units, and that boat can make a normal move, so you can move in your opponent's turn.
Yeah, there's a lot of debate if this is trash or if this is brilliant. I'm on team brilliant.
It's situationally good.
Team trash.
It is fantastic to move in your opponent's turn. It means you can get your boat in better position that when you get the next turn, you can get even closer. You can set up for a flyover to drop bombs. You can do fun stuff with this. You can deny battle tactics. You can score objectives with this. You can do a lot.
Yeah, denying battle tactics. Yeah. But 12 inches away, they're gonna be within 12 inches in like the end of turn 1. They'll be within 12 inches. And then you'll get it like this way once or twice a game.
This is a way to deliver a purple sun.
Mm-hmm.
Your opponent moves. Then in his turn, you move your ship 10 inches forward. Your turn, you move it again, and we'll see with different ability in the hero phase, and then you drop out the sun.
Yeah. Okay. It's also good in Zon if you're playing like a counter-attack list, so you give away turn 1, and they sort of cautiously move forwards, and they don't want to get too close to you because they know that you just move your ship forwards.
Yeah. Remember, you cannot fly high all your ships, which means you cannot do the classic KO deployment. I put all my boats in the corner because you will get one boat out of that corner with fly high, and the others are stuck there.
Mm-hmm.
So this means you can move one ship, and then forward, and you have another one that you can fly high, and you have 2 ships now in action for your turn.
Yeah.
No, moving
Yeah.
moving wins games, and moving in your opponent's turn or doing things in your opponent's turn is just the strongest thing you can do in a game, in my opinion.
I have a
We should have mentioned it probably at the beginning when we talked about the Warscroll changes, but ships now count as 5. Well, frigates and ironclads count as 5 on objectives now, which is also
Oh, nice.
important because
And the frigate
moving a ship on-
doesn't degrade the move; it stays at 12
Yeah.
inches.
Yeah. Notice,
Yeah.
yeah, that the 5 on objectives is so nice. You put 2
Mhm.
frigates on objective, and you actually have a unit on there instead of just I've got 4 models.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Cunning Fleet Master is like got an extra 5 on that objective now that they weren't expecting.
Yeah.
So
No, if they say,
how-
"Oh, I'm gonna do a desecrate on this terrain,"
Yeah.
and they
Yeah,
say,
you
"Okay,
go-
end of you're done moving. Okay, I'm gonna move my ship next to terrain.
It's
It counts as
end of
5."
It's end
Yeah.
of the phase as well, so if
Yeah.
they're only just trailing 1 or 2 guys onto it, thinking, "Oh,
Yeah.
okay, well, I don't
3
need many."
nurglings,
'Cause-
you know, that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. Yeah, I
Yeah.
count as 5 with my ship next to it.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
yeah, you denied a battle
Ah.
tactic. So
Yeah, it's any sky vessel within 12, not just the one that the general was inside.
mhm.
So that's pretty good.
I have
I
a
think we're gonna have to
different
move on.
views on these command traits. I don't know. They're I get looking at them as a whole. I see them as ways to get other rules that you could get elsewhere in the book without having to take those rules.
Yeah.
Basically,
So which ones do you want to call out, Quan?
so X
What do you-
gun stock is basically be Baragnar without being Baragnar, and
Well, that's fantastic.
Scholar on an Arcanaut is a save 90 points and don't get a code right in your army.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Fantastic.
Like
Mhm.
that is that is literally 90 points there. That's what that is. Save
Mhm.
90 points.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, you get 2 out of the 3, and with the code right, you get all 3 potentially. But...
Mhm.
No,
You
X
know, you-
Grunstock is fantastic. I mean, this is what we've been asking for. Why a Thunder's
Mhm.
only battle line in Baragnar? I want to play 15 since I can't play 20 anymore. And boo, I can only do 10, and 10 don't do enough damage in Zilfin, blah, 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 blah. Now
Mhm.
you can play 15 in 2 times 15 in
Mm.
Fring and give them the prayer.
And you
made
can
for
issue
me.
a CP command to them without spending a CP as well.
Oh, yeah, fantastic. I didn't even think
Because it would be good with just the first part,
that. Yeah.
but then you add on, it's like got Illumina for like in addition.
Yeah, once per turn, only a general can do it. But okay,
Yeah, but
fantastic.
he's the command trait. Of course, it's the general.
All out attack for free.
Yeah, yeah.
Also,
turn.
cool to note, it's keyword Gunstock, I think, so
Yes.
it could actually work on Gunhaulers.
It
Yes,
does
it
work
does.
on Gunhaulers. You
Yes.
can do Gunhauler Battleline with this.
Yeah.
Also, just cool conversion things. Make yourself a Gunstock like general.
Yes. Gunstock
Lee's,
general.
it's
With
all over.
rifles
Lee's all over.
and drill
I've
bills,
already I suppose I've already got one.
like a drill parrot.
I can make another one. Yeah. So yeah, you mentioned Scholar and Arcanaut as well,
Yeah,
which is
I mean,
you get an extra
there's-
footnote. That's
There's
good.
2 footnotes that you really want.
Mhm.
And you can get both of them. And this also no. Can you fly high? You can fly high and no.
What?
I'm confused. It's okay.
You can fly
It
high,
basically
yes.
means turn 1 you can both fly high and get 2 commands on the same boat.
Ooh, I've just
In turn
realised
1.
that this is better than having a code right because the code right lets you. Can wait?
You have to pick one at
I
a
have to
time
reread
for
how
the code right.
a code right works, but because the way the code right works, it lets you change your footnote, but you can't
in your hero phase. Start of your
Yeah.
hero phase.
Yes.
You can't pick one
So you
that you
don't-
already had.
Yes.
So what you use
With
this
the code
for
right,
is
you can't
you have your 15 Thunderers in your
use 2
Ironclad
footnotes
with
in
a
the
battle
same
ram.
in the same turn, can you?
No.
But you can with this. So this is better. The code change your footnote, but you can't use 2 footnotes in the same turn. Whereas with this, you can use 2 footnotes in the same turn.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
a little cut off, Lee.
Oh,
Maybe it's just me.
did you not
or-
hear?
No,
Is that
but
better?
it was a bit robot-y.
Okay, so basically,
What I
with
was-
a code right, you can only use 1 footnote per turn, and you can change it. But with this command trait, you can use 2 footnotes in the same turn.
2 footnotes. You could blow all your footnotes in 1 turn if you wanted to. Basically, my thought was you get if you have a Ironclad with your Thunderers in it, you use both of the footnotes. One to fly high the Ironclad over, combat landing the Thunderers out, and then 3d6 charge the Ironclad in after the fact with its battle ram.
After you shot everyone with that 15 thunders, who are you charging now?
Whatever was behind the yeah.
No, yeah, totally.
Also, the way I'm seeing it, I'm going to shoot him with 30 Thunderers. But
go ahead.
Get to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we need to talk about 2 more.
Yeah. Old Skydog, extra Endrinwork. So Zilfin without
It's
going.
Zilfin without being Zilfin, or
that too.
Zilfin with 3 Endrinworks.
And
or
Stormcore.
basically, you can, or without a battalion.
Yeah.
You get
Or
4
get 3
with a battalion.
Endrinworks. Have
5.
Ironclad. I don't know.
5 with this. In Zilfin with double Magnificent.
Every boat has an Endrinwork.
Yeah.
And Stormcallers, another one the other one that makes me think they really want you to take an admiral as a general, because it doesn't say if the navigator is a general, he can reroll his dice. It's just if your general is a Stormcaller, you can reroll navigator dice.
Yeah. We'll see what that means.
You
soon, but it's good.
Yeah.
It's very powerful.
Yes.
I wish there was a way.
Top pick of this, Lee. The one top pick.
Well, I said earlier that I think I like cutting Fleetmaster, but let's be honest here. There is 4 really good ones, and 2 that are good but not really good.
They're good, but not good as the other ones.
Yes, like Grudgebearer and Old Skydog are okay. Like they're good things. Like they're not. The days of where you read through a book and you have
Sorry, you're cutting out.
Yeah, I think the internet is dying.
Yeah. Stop downloading videos.
I think the trouble is Rita is watching the Eurovision. So, and we have 100 people watching the show right now, which is probably like draining some sort of internet somewhere. So, but yeah, guys. So Chronulite, Scholar, and an Archon and X-Constructing. Max is your favorite Cunning Fleetmaster?
Cunning Fleetmaster is the big brain pick in my opinion, but I really do like Stormcaller.
Okay, yeah, Stormcaller I think is very good as well. Okay, let's move on because if not,
I wish there was a way to get like more than one command trait in this game.
Yes, please.
That would be
2 generals.
Yes.
Can we have 2 generals?
Yeah.
I'll take a Warlord battalion.
Have a model count as a general. Okay, so Artifacts of Power. Gone are the days where you had tables for chemists and tables for navigators and tables for everyone. However, some of these are limited to certain heroes. The first one is Master of Armor, which is an admiral only, and you get a 5+ ward.
Yes, and this is important. We'll see because he lost his bodyguard rule.
Important, yes. I guess. Yes. I feel this is the. Oh no, it's not. Yeah, Mag Bowlers. It's not the worst. Mag Bowlers exist.
No. Did you say did you say Mag Bowlers was the best or the worst?
I was going with the worst. This is very Master of Armor is very unexciting, and
and you can do this with the what's it called?
In the current season, with the
no, the other one, Amulet of Destiny, the same thing.
Oh yeah,
isn't it? Or is it the 6 at word now?
But now
it's not called Amulet of Destiny anymore, but there is one in the GHB. Okay, Celestial Burst Grenade. Battle the stars, the shooting phase can pick an enemy within 12 inches, and that unit can't make raw rolls for that phase. And I think I mixed here that's 2+. It is on 2+, isn't it? Yes, I've missed that.
Yes, it
is. So basically, it's the Admiral's old ability. Yes.
Which is a shame.
One hero now,
Yes.
once per game.
Doesn't have to be the Admiral,
Yes.
but once per game, one unit on a 2-up, you remove the ward. It's much worse than having 2 Admirals. But
Yes.
it is a very strong pick if you're facing ward saves.
Especially if you... I
Yes,
think
this
this
is-
would be better in a team's environment where you can kind of pick, like, okay, I am going into armies with a ward save.
Yep.
And then,
Mhm.
and not like in the singles where you're like, oh, it's not like it's a Stormcast list again, I guess. What doesn't have
Yeah,
wards?
I mean,
Lots
What
of
doesn't have
armies
wards?
don't have wards.
lots of armies don't have
Sand?
wards, and if they have like a 6+ ward, it doesn't really matter. So, or like maybe even sometimes in a 5+ ward if they got a really good armor save, like if they can get to like 2+ ignoring 1 rend, then you're actually
It's
more.
a shame it's a 2+,
you know,
because come on,
Yeah, for
it's
once
a once per
battle,
game use.
and
It's an artifact. I need to. Yeah, come on. Let's just give me
Mm,
a war.
It means
removal.
once a tournament, you're going to be really disappointed.
Once a tournament.
Yes.
I played a teams event last weekend, and in 3 out of 5 times I used the Admiral ability, I rolled a 1.
Ugh.
Like,
Ugh.
come on.
Yeah,
Super
sometimes.
Yeah.
Were you playing on TTS? That's your problem. Those dice rollers are
No,
the
this was a
worst.
live event.
Ah.
Yeah, it is possible to roll a 1 for these important things, which is a shame. But I think that's good. It's certainly something you might want to take. Matchup dependent a bit, but the matchups where you do get something is going to be game changing, because removing a 4+ ward is huge. Okay, Mag Bowlers is one that I've seen mixed opinions on, because I've seen some
It's just
people
the
say
same.
that
The Admiral ammunition just clarified.
Mhm.
Now it also works on 3d6 charges because
Yes.
it says
It's that
1 less dice.
Mhm.
it's that Admiral munition that you never used and probably will still
I
never
never
use.
used it.
But
Monster
I
in
have seen people
12
talking about it
with
as an
2
auto
plots.
take now, but I'm not sure about that.
It's and then you redeploy a unit, get that unit inside the ship, or move your unit. Like, there's ways where you can simply deny charges with this, but it is in combination with the navigator. This is strong.
The nice thing
Yes.
is it
And it
isn't
works on
once per
Kragnos now.
game. I think the
No,
mag bowlers
it's
are
good.
just every turn you can mag bowl or something.
Yeah, that's true. Whereas I think when you had with the Admiral's munitions before, it was once per game. So this is every turn. It's quite good.
Oh, is it? Not once per game?
Because if it's not once per game, actually, that makes a big difference.
Let me check the real book. Artefacts. Mag bolas at the start of your shooting phase, you can make 1 enemy monster. Oh, good to
Every
know.
turn. Okay,
makes
so
it
that
much
does make
better.
it. So it's
That
actually
makes it much
it's had
better.
2 buffs.
This
then.
makes like the match versus full dragonless super
Oh
interesting.
yeah,
Yeah.
full Dragonless is just having a bad time.
Mhm.
6-inch move, 1d6 charge. Have fun with that.
And that's my problem with these things, because some of the abilities from admirals now become artifacts.
Mhm.
You need to unlock a lot of artifacts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like the burst grenade, you probably want. Then you might want the Mac Bolos. Oh, a spell bottle, that's cool. We'll see in a minute.
Yeah.
Witstone orb. I'd like to have that. So yeah, I need. I'm already 10 drops.
Yeah.
You're taking 6 heroes. Luckily, our heroes are relatively cheap and all pretty good.
Yep.
Okay, so spell in a bottle, as Max has mentioned, still exists. It is chemists only, as you would expect.
Yes.
You get an Ennis spell though now for free. No points needed to be spent at all. But you can only pick
generic ones.
You can only pick ones, generic ones that don't have a faction keyword, and I can't spell. And it can't be unbound. It's automatically cast, and they've written it nice and clearly. You don't control it, so no ambiguity there.
Jeremy, you cannot control it. It is great because the spells we used to take are between 70 and 100 points. So you're saving on that. Basically, your chemist is for free. There's a bit of an issue with some endless spells because we use the hero phase move to deliver them. We don't have that anymore, so it's a bit more complicated. But it is a very strong artifact to get an autocast and a spell for free.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to call something out quickly from the chat because people are talking about the Tusk Helm.
Oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have engaged.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have engaged.
No, I've got to mention it. That is going to be something. You know, when we talked about how that one section of the embarking rules is going to need FAQs, Tusk Helm is one of the reasons why.
Yes.
Because there's two different interpretations of that, and one of them is that you count as having made the same move, you've made a charge move, but you haven't made a charge roll for that unit. So it doesn't work. And then other people saying we use the charge roll for the ship. So which is it? GW
So you
really need to
the Admiral made a charge. So the Admiral counts as having made a charge move as well. Does he count as having the 3d6? A tournament I'm going
Does he
to
count as...
in a couple weeks has ruled it as yes, it does count. So you would get them both. So that's what I'm taking.
Yeah, I mean,
to that tournament.
Yeah, I mean, if you get your tournament to roll, you can do it. Then great. I mean, yeah, that's really good.
Dice 4+
10
are
mortal wound charge on average off of an Ironclad, an Admiral in an Ironclad.
Yeah, awesome. Well done.
Yeah.
So,
I don't expect that to fly, and I mean, in a couple of months, that Tusk Helm is gone anyway. So.
Yeah, true. Tusk Helm will be gone, so maybe that'd be something that Game Search will never FAQ anyway, because they just think, well, Tusk Helm won't exist. But it needs some FAQs for other things.
Yeah.
Because there's other implications with that anyway. So yeah, but basically, you know, there's good artifacts here. There's also good ones elsewhere in the GHB. We want a lot of artifacts potentially.
have we mentioned about Spell in a Bottle not being generic spells?
Yes.
Not being skater spells anymore.
Yes, we have. Throw away your
Warp Lightning Vortex.
Warp Lightning Vortexes. Sadly, we had a good time.
I'm glad I put a lot of effort into converting that. But you can
everyone go out and start a Skaven army now. You've already got the spells.
Sleeper pick for Spell. Why don't I say sleeper pick, but a good pick for Spell in a Bottle? Purple Sun, Horrorghast, and Soulscream Bridge. Because now we've lost Fly High and lots of shenanigans. You can do some shenanigans with Soulscream Bridge.
Soulscream Bridge is my
15 Thunderers in someone's face, and then you use another realm artifact to get the chemists there to give them extra end.
Just put
there's an aspect to all the
and all of his friends in an Ironclad with another 15 Thunderers, and then put 30 Thunderers in their face. Give them all +2 rend.
Yeah, you don't have that many points, sadly.
What? Yeah,
you can do it. You could do it. I've written it. I've written it, Max.
There's not much left in that army.
You don't need much else.
They don't have much left in their army either.
I'm telling you another sleeper pick. Yeah, I sadly didn't understand that because you cut off.
You roboted again.
Best sleeper pick, Gnashing Jaws, in combination with Navigators.
Okay.
Oh yeah, because they don't just have flying anymore. They have
they have everyone. They have everyone.
Yes.
So good. I'd do mortal wounds, and then this thing comes in and does another mortal wounds.
There are some drawbacks for the Navigator as well, which we'll talk about when we get to it. But let's stick with the artifacts. Phosphorite Bomblets basically works the way it worked before. It's any Endrin Master now, so you can put it on the foot one.
Yes.
Fantastic. Yeah, so that's cool.
It's units within 6. You can use this after you run. No issue.
Yes.
It's not a shooting attack. It's just in the shooting phase.
Some games it'll give you 13 mortal wounds. Some games it'll give you none.
Yeah, on average 5 or 6, I think.
It's one of those really good important things where you can do mortal wounds before you shoot, which can sometimes be important because things downgrade on their saves before you shoot. So that's cool. Stuff like Bacillinons. Or
It's
you
also
can shoot.
an ability that happens in the shooting phase,
Yep.
not a shooting attack, so it gets past stuff like Ironeth and line of sight.
Yeah, and Galician champions.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Good pick.
Yeah.
Like a
Or
5 wound hero. You should be
I
able
see
to
you
kill that.
back
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Well, back there, it's
Yeah.
6 inches. It's not that far back, but
Yeah.
you can get there.
Yeah. Randall in the chat says this ability is how you kill Gotrek. Well, I've had it ruled. I've seen people argue that it doesn't work. So
it's one ability, so you deal 1 wound to him. Sadly.
Yeah. So
the burst grenade is how you kill Gotrek.
Oh yeah.
Yes, the burst grenade. So it doesn't have a 3+ ward anymore. Is how you kill Gotrek.
That's how 10
okay.
Arcanons kill him. Yeah.
Yeah. And lastly, but not least, Voidstone Orb, which has had a nerf. It's navigators only, and once per battle you can auto unbind a spell, but it used to be you could auto unbind or you could auto dispel. So it doesn't auto dispel anymore.
Yeah, it used
Max
to
is
be
now
when
going
he
to read
uses
back.
his ability, and now
Yeah.
it's when he attempts to unbind.
Yeah.
It's the same as the encounter
it-
now. Voidstorm Orb.
Yeah.
Voidstorm Scroll. Is that the name?
Yeah, it's void something.
The encounter.
Yeah. It's still good because 9 times out of 10 you would have been using it for a spell anyway, rather than to
and
dispel
casting
something.
endless spells is also unbinding. So
Yes.
this can also win games, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like if you're facing a tech list with who wants to do his Technado through a mirror or a Kairos, you can just shut that down. Say no.
Yes. Although I guess there's an argument against Lumineth that you use it on Total Eclipse because
I would 100%
got a lot of
use it
command
on Total
abilities.
Eclipse.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're a very command ability heavy faction, and if they Total Eclipse,
you use it on the
working.
Cathalar spell because she's like a Bellacore. Or teleports.
Yeah.
Or whatever shuts down your units start of a game. Yeah.
Lumineth are a bad time for KO.
Not anymore.
Don't think?
No.
Voidstone is boring but effective. Yeah, that's a good point. And the thing is, you can get around Voidstone Orb as well by not allying in a Night Encounter.
Yeah,
if
but you want
a
the
Night
Navigator
Encounter,
anyway.
Yes, if you take a Night Encounter, it's like getting 2 artifacts because you get the Voidstone Orb and Arcane Tome, basically.
Yeah, but he's a stupid Stormcaster, can't go in ships.
But he can cast Mystic Shield before the ship flies away. So
all right,
that's cool.
Let's
move on. Yes,
these are good, but we lost a lot of other good ones.
Yes. Okay. Endrinworks. So if you don't know what Endrinworks are, basically they're artifacts for ships.
And mount traits for ships.
Yes, mount traits for ships. Yeah, and there's 3 tables for these. One's for Ironclads, Frigates, and Gunhaulers. So these are the Ironclad ones. I think we have to go through these a bit quicker. So the last word, you can shoot at the end of the charge phase with either the Sky Cannon, Skyhook, or Great Volley Gun. If you're within 3 inches of an enemy in the charge that phase.
Yeah, same as before.
Yeah, basically the same as before. Old reliable hull plates. The first wound to be allocated each phase is negated.
Very good. This is the Manfred armor on a boat.
Breath of more grin, which is more grim.
The old Urbaz artifact.
Yes, basically. So in the shooting phase, you pick 1 enemy unit and roll a dice for each model in that unit within 9 inches, and every 5+ is a mortal wound, which is good if there's a lot of hordes, but you don't really see a huge amount of hordes. So
hordes of pinks around your ship.
Yeah.
No.
Because even if it's a 30 model unit and they're all in range, you can do like 6 mortal wounds. So
yeah.
Is that right? No, you do 10.
No.
10. Yeah.
Still,
Okay.
yeah,
But
no.
anyway,
I'm glad we have some trash options left in our book, so the choice is a little bit easier.
Yeah.
yes. Deal breaker battle ram works the same way as it did before.
Yep.
After a charge,
Lovely
you
with
pick one enemy
3d6
unit
charge.
within 1 inches.
It's still.
And you roll-
It is still not unmodified charge roll.
Yes. It's still just the charge roll, not unmodified charge. But we don't have any ways to get bonuses to charge now.
Not yet.
But you can get a 3d6 charge, so we roll 3d6 and then 4 pluses and mortal wound. It's good. We mentioned that earlier. Prudency shoots have got a bit better. So when the ship's destroyed, you don't roll to see if any of the models are slain. When you have to roll ones, don't do that. But also, this is new, is units that are embarked and then have to get out the ship when it's destroyed, they can be set up within 3 inches of enemy units. So it's a lot harder if you have this to surround the ship and stop them from being set up.
Because that was always the complaint about prudency shoots before. It's like, oh, I don't have to roll the ones, but I still just I still get surrounded and die.
Yeah.
And I just noticed that really recently, actually. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I still would never take it, but it's a cool. It's cool that it exists.
I wouldn't take it because you're planning for disaster that your Ironclad dies.
Yeah,
So,
it's the same. Although it's better than one of the other ones that happens when your boat dies, that we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
For frigates. Okay, and Magnificent Omniscope is you get an extra 2 inches to the boat's move.
So another tip
course,
you can get +4.
Yes, stacks. That's
Very
quite
good.
cool.
And it's more important since we cannot not always fly high.
As with Voidstone, all boring but effective.
It's very good,
yeah. So, favorite picks here?
Battle Ram.
Yeah, Battle Ram is the fun one. I mean, you can use it almost every turn.
Yeah. I'm not saying I'm gonna use it every time, but I like the hull plates.
Yeah,
because it makes the Ironclad even more defensive.
Yeah, and it's each phase. Bear in mind there is like 5 phases. You won't take wounds in the battle phase, but it could be.
Well, you are if you're playing Squig Herd.
Yeah, well, so potentially it's an extra 10 times, like a lot of extra wounds.
a lot.
Well, I was going to say 50, but it's not. You're never going to.
So with Manfred, it averages maybe 10 to 12 wounds more per game.
Yeah.
So it's very good. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So, and Magnificent Omniscope is kind of like a one you take if you're building around it.
Yep. It's good.
How do you feel about the last word?
It is still very strong.
Mm-hmm.
With the amount of shooting you can do with Unleash Shell and Last Word from an Ironclad, that will make your opponent seriously consider charging that boat or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The problem is you used to be able to stack it with your gold to get +1 to wound.
Yeah.
You can't now.
Yeah.
So
But you can stack it with the Supremacy Mine now, so that's nice.
Yes. One thing that is worth mentioning is that Ironclads are quite expensive now. So even though they have got the best Endrinworks,
well, expensive. They went up 10 points.
10 points. It's not.
But they lost Fly High and they lost a lot of stuff off their Warscroll. Remember, and then you got Frigates got better, and so
the Endrinworks per se are good.
But
good options.
I don't think you're going to be seeing 2 or 3 Ironclads to take multiple Endrinworks and.
We're not up to 2 double Ironclad lists yet.
No,
we've still got other options in this book.
I wrote some, and they're not bad.
Okay. Ones for Frigates, they have less for some reason. So there's 4. The first one is new, is Scuttling Failsafe.
Didn't they always have 3?
They used to have 3. Now they have 4. But Gunhaulers still have 3 for some reason. Scuttling Failsafe. If the boat is destroyed before removing it or disembarking any models, roll a dice for each unit within 3 inches. On a 2+, they take D3 mortal wounds.
Yeah, great. So my ship is dead, and now I'm killing my own unit.
Yes.
Yeah. Moving on.
So this is worse than Prudency shoots.
This is stupid.
Like, I mean, if you get charged by lots of stuff from lots of enemy units and doing D3
Man.
more wounds to them, but you're
Come
going
on.
to have stuff inside your ship.
I mean, this is your fire ship basically. Don't put anything in this frigate and run it forward, and then it blows up and does D3 mortal wounds. Okay.
Which is in detriment to the frigate rules. You want to
Yeah.
put stuff
If
inside.
it did D6 mortal wounds,
Yeah.
To everyone within 9, sure,
Yeah.
but not like
then
this.
you could actually do a play around it. But yeah, no.
No,
No,
this
no,
is
no. Next, Prostitutes. It's
British
exactly
Institutes
the same.
It's the same. Malefic Sky Mines. Once per
Same.
battle, to start the combat phase, pick one enemy unit within 6 inches that can fly. On a 2 to 3, they'd take D3 mortal wounds, and on a 4+, they take D6.
Within
It's
6,
okay,
that can
but-
fly. On a 2, on a 4, D6. No, it's a lot of words that will never happen. To do 1 wound,
And we all know that the combat phase doesn't exist.
they come up.
Combat.
Yeah, and
Oh.
Omniscope
Well, you
is
come
the
to
same.
Aethercast.
+2.
Yes.
So you could potentially have a 16-inch move frigate.
Yeah.
Which is good.
That's Magnificent Omniscope is, I guess, it's the default one you take if you take frigates, right?
I'd
Yeah,
say
if
your
you're assuming you don't have like a gun hauler, because spoiler alert, I think there's a better one for a gun
Talking
hauler.
about
If you really
Gunhaulers. Next slide.
Yes. The next slide. Gun haulers. Surge injection Endrin's Mark IV. They missed a trick here because they were Mark IV in the last book, so they should be Mark V now.
They didn't change, did they? Oh,
No, they haven't changed them, but they should have changed them and called it Mark V. That would have been cool.
yeah.
So when the boat does a normal move or retreats, you can add D3 inches to the move, or you can choose to add 2 D3 inches. But if you roll a double, then the ship takes 1 mortal wound, but you still get the move. So that's the same as it was before, which means you can get a very, very fast gun hauler, because gun haulers also have an ability called Ahead Full, which lets them move an extra 6 inches when they do a normal move. It's not a run, you just get an extra 6 inches and then move 12. So you do 18 inches plus 2d3 potentially and shoot and charge. So that's cool. But they didn't get the count as 5 models on objectives thing. So
no.
Depth Settler Spar Torpedo. Once per battle, after the boat has charged, you pick one enemy unit within 1 inch and roll a dice. On a 2+, they suffer the number of mortal wounds equal to that roll.
It just eliminates 1 roll.
Yeah.
Does the same thing.
You roll 1 less dice now, and there's no chance of rolling 1 on that d6, basically. So
It's convenient now.
It's just a nice. This is like what I was saying earlier, how they've done some like quality of life improvements. Like you don't have to roll a 2. You know, it's nice, and that's good if you're doing a lot of like a big chargy list with lots of charging stuff. You know, you're doing. You know, if you do get them to rule that Tusk Helm works, and then you're taking the battle round, and then you take this, and then you take, you know, all sorts of other things, and you just, you know, charge in and do loads of mortal wounds. So that's cool.
If I didn't have a specific plan around the compartments, Dead Settler is kind of the generic one I'd put on a gun hauler if that's what I was going for.
Yeah, it is a little hero killer, 18-inch move once per game. Go over there.
Yeah.
Now even 20-inch if you want to take that article.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the one that I think is really good, Colbeard's collapsible compartments. The boat gets the transport vessel keyword, which means you can put stuff inside it with the capacity of up to 6 Skyfarers.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
now this is
bigger
really
compartment.
good. It wasn't that good before in the old book, but now that you can put Endrinworks and Sky Wardens inside ships, and the fact that it's 6 now rather than 5, so you could put like a unit of 5 guys and a hero. But really, it's 6 riggers or 6 wardens in a
6 wardens
gun hauler.
in a gun hauler, moving 20 inches
80,
and then charging 3d6. You can get everywhere. That's like a, you know, that's your special ops commando. Go over there and kill that unit.
Yeah. And the best thing is
Iron Blaster. That's being annoying.
If it's riggers, the riggers can heal the ship. So while they're in there, the riggers can heal the gun hauler, which makes actually the gun hauler on a 3+ save with healing and 10 wounds that doesn't degrade. It's relatively tanky. And then you've got, so that's quite cool. But then also it's making the riggers or the wardens inside +1 save and -1 to hit, because that's the problem with riggers and wardens, is they're fragile.
Yeah, that's the best thing of putting balloons inside is they're now a free up save.
So I find it hard to
Something
look past like a Gunhauler taking like I want to put it in almost every list, unless I'm doing a big skew thing with bridge and
No, I
Thunders.
like Gunhaulers, but I don't want to spend efforts or resources on a second Endrinworks, so I don't know if he'll get one. But
Okay,
if I think compartment is the topic, yeah.
cool. So yeah, let's move on then. What do we have next? Battalions, they exist.
Yeah.
They happen.
Next.
That's all we need to say about them because they're
They're
not good.
Bad.
Shall I read what they
They're
do?
they're like versions to get things that you can get with core battalions.
Yeah, you
Just
can.
take Sharpshooter or Warlord Battalion.
Yeah, there isn't
Sharpshooter,
one to give you an
Monitor,
extra artifact
Warlord.
or to give you one drop. So
Battle regiments.
Battle Edge, yeah.
Yeah. From the chat, Todd, engineers just need to be within 3 inches of the ship. It doesn't matter inside which ship they are. They can heal
Oh, that's
other ships.
cool.
As well.
yeah,
So your little escort vessel that's giving you other ships a 6-up
You have a
ward can
little-
also give them healing.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
little repair boat with 6-up ward. It's
Yeah.
flying between the other 2. You can heal
Yeah.
left or right.
Man, that's just kind of cool as an idea. Just like as a lore idea.
yeah,
Yeah,
Convert,
we're
have like
all-
little crane on top.
We're all
Yeah, it's just
narrative players. Yeah.
yeah. Cool. So I don't. Yeah, should we move on from battalions because they're not good?
Yes,
Basically.
yeah. They're
Move
trash.
on.
Cool.
Read them.
Grand strategies. How are you going to get the
Woo!
victory points in a KO army?
You're gonna get all of them.
Yes, but you can only do one.
of them.
You can only pick one grand.
No, you're gonna
strategy.
get all the points, all the battle
Yes,
tactics, all the
okay.
strategies.
Yeah.
There's so
So
many.
first one, rule of the skies. If there are one or more friendly sky vessels on the battlefield, and there are no enemy behemoths that can fly on the battlefield.
Yeah.
So
Stop right there. That's all you need to know.
That one's good.
have a boat.
One gunhauler is gonna score you this.
Yes, and you just have to kill any behemoths that fly. So if it was models that fly, it would be quite difficult. But the fact that it's behemoths that fly, that's a relatively small ball.
Unless you're
Not-
playing full dragons, this is super easy.
Does dragons count as behemoths?
No, they don't. No,
are they
they're
not?
not behemoths.
No.
What is a behemoth that can fly? Archeon?
A Maw Crusher.
Archeon,
Maw Crusher?
Soul Black Gravelords will have all their zombie dragons.
The dragons?
Mm.
Yeah, but they're gonna die when you look at them.
Terran guys.
Stardrake, Karazai, Krondys.
Yeah,
those
Star Dragon.
people-
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's not-
there's a lot of armies that won't even have a behemoth that can fly.
Oh yeah,
So,
80% of the
Yeah,
armies.
so then it's just
go-
like keep one sky vessel alive. It
like-
doesn't have to be in a certain part of the battlefield. It's not like in your territory or something.
No,
It's just on the
put the
battlefield.
gunhauler in the furthest corner, back there with a drill cannon.
William Bronny's put it out Ironclads in the mirror match.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Fair
the mirror
enough.
match. Okay. Okay, so that one's good. But
Fantastic.
spoiler, there's other good ones here. Prospector Fleet. After deployment, pick one terrain feature. You just have to control that terrain feature at the end of the battle. God, I really can't. Should have really done a spell check on this. I like this one. I
Half
think
the
this one's
fun.
good. Because if you take any regulars or Skywinds with a grapnel, they can get to one quite easy. Of course, you have to pick it, so your opponent's got 5 turns to get to that one. But you can pick one in like a corner in the way, somewhere that's really awkward that your
You
opponent
can pick one
won't
in
ever want
your
to get to.
deployment zone somewhere in the corner. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So-
Also good.
it's good. It's not, it's a shame we don't have. Well, we do have fire. So you
I
can just-
think Stefan is right. The opponent picks the terrain feature for this one,
Yeah. They
Oh.
do, yeah.
do
which
they?
makes it bad.
Or do-
Yeah, I was
are you just-
surprised. Like, how did I miss this?
Oh, maybe I misread it then. Well, while you're double checking that, I will read. Defend the flagship. Pardon?
That's
Oh, no, sorry.
Your opponent must
defend
pick
the
one terrain
flagship.
feature. Yep, your opponent picks it.
Ah,
Bad.
okay.
Okay, next one.
Okay, that's bad then. It's bad because
Yep,
they picked
bad.
like.
They're gonna pick their
bad.
shrine or something.
Okay, yeah. Defend the flagship. You can only do this one if your general is an admiral, and you complete this if the general is not slain, and the model that he picked to be a flagship, which is the thing he has on his war scroll, has not been destroyed.
Yeah, it's a complicated version of Rule of the Skies.
Yeah, it's Rule of the Skies, but
Just complicated.
it doesn't
Instead
rely
of
on your
killing
opponent
a
having
unit-
behemoths. You had to keep your admiral alive instead, and
Nah,
Yeah.
no.
yeah, and
No.
you have to keep one ship alive rather than just one specific ship, rather than like just any ship. So
Yeah,
Admiral
no.
without bodyguard is a little bit too
No.
okay,
squishy to
Not as good
base an
as
entire
Rule of
clan
the
strat.
Skies.
okay. Guarded by the code, you complete this if you did at least 4 battle tactics, and every battle tactic you did in the game was a KO one.
It
I
is
mean,
not impossible, but it's sometimes you just want
limiting.
to do other ones.
Yes.
Desiccate their glands or something easy like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope. Pass.
So I think Rule of the Skies is better.
Yeah, Rule of the Skies
9
out of 10 times.
Okay, so KO got 6 battle tactics.
Yes.
5 of which are great. 1 of which is
Yeah.
still a question,
Okay,
which is the
so
first one. Bombing run.
bombing
How?
run.
Why?
Pick one enemy unit.
Why?
You complete this if that unit is destroyed by the bomb racks ability. That's
So much better than it used to be.
Yes, it's better than it used to be. It's doable. You do have to have quite a lot of ships to do it, really, because you can't kill them
Why?
by any other abilities in there.
No, you
But
just shoot someone. And next turn you say, "Oh, those 2 guys left. I'm just gonna fly over them
Yeah.
and drop 10 bombs on them."
yeah,
just
I mean,
gonna
you can
kill
plan
them.
ahead for it. So
And then you can
Yeah,
do
you can plan
an
ahead.
eye for an eye or a gaining momentum some other time.
Mhm.
It's a super easy one
yeah,
to do. If you're going that way
Mhm.
anyway, and you're just gonna fly over these
the other thing is
3
uh,
guys.
that is what you want to do a bombing run on anyway. Is normally if there is like a couple of guys that you're going to be that are just in the way somewhere you don't want to shoot.
Or low wound heroes, like 5-6 wound heroes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the little cheap Galatian champions.
Okay, so that one's doable. Maybe
It
requires
is.
a bit
It's
of
a good
planning.
one. It's a pretty good one. I think.
Requires planning ahead is I think the key. Mobilize the fleet, which you can't use in the first battle round. It's the same as it was before after the FAQ. You pick 3 units not embarked, and you basically have to have those units embarked at the end of the turn. So you had to get 3
It's much
3
easier
units
now.
into the boat.
It's much easier to
Yes,
do now because your guys are
getting
gonna
in and out of the
go
boat is
out
so
and in
easy.
and out and in of boats. Especially if you use frigates, because you're gonna charge in,
Yeah.
they're gonna jump out. Next turn, you say, "Oh, these guys go back in." Fantastic, got my battle.
Yeah, because with the frigates ability, you can just charge in and then get them out.
Yeah,
In the combat,
that's what I meant.
In the charge
It's
phase,
so easy.
Yeah, so it's like you just have to then
Good.
make sure you kill the stuff and they don't kill one of those units. So, but yeah, it's cool.
You're not gonna.
No, boots on the ground. You pick 3 units that are embarked, and basically had those units not embarked at the end of the turn, and wholly within enemy territory at the end of the turn.
Same thing. You
So
take
the same as
that
it was.
frigate, pick the 3 units, and relaunch it across the board with 300 inches move and ram something.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways of doing this because if you can get 3 different Skyrigger units out of ships and then run them because they move quite fast. Like if you don't want to send the ship into.
You don't need to run them. You can run them and then grapple them.
Oh no, I'm thinking of.
You get out of the ship and then grapple. Like
yes,
them,
you could grapple
them, and then
yeah.
Done.
Run them or grapple, or depends if you want
and
to.
then next turn you do a desecrate on the terrain that you grapple to.
Yeah.
So
that one's good. Easy. Opening salvo.
This is a fun one.
This one is potentially the easiest, but also potentially the hardest because it
depending on how you build your list.
Yeah, and also it's just like, you might not be able to do this one in some games. Basically, you can only pick this if there be no units destroyed in the battle. So if your opponent takes first turn and kills one of your screens, you can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
So you basically can't do it in turn 2, 3, 4, 5. And you complete it if at least 1 enemy unit is destroyed in your shooting phase.
Yeah.
So it should be relatively easy if you take first turn. You just shoot off a screen.
Or a second turn and they couldn't do nothing because you were far away.
Yeah.
You go over there, you shoot that screen, boom, done. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like it's a battle tactic that's encouraging you to alpha strike. Almost.
Yeah, you
I
don't
would
need to.
say.
'Cause you can just shoot a screen.
You can
Yeah.
shoot
Shoot a
someone
screen
from
and
50 inches away. Like move over, shoot,
yeah,
done. And if they cannot deep
yeah.
strike or fly or teleport, then they're not going to do anything first turn.
Mhm. So that's an easy, good first turn one to do.
Yep.
Great. Blast into smithereens. Pick one objective within 12 inches of enemy units. You complete this if no enemy units are within 12 inches of that objective at the end of the turn.
Just shoot them.
So
Shoot-
shoot people
shoot a
off an
unit.
objective, but it's 12 inches, not 6 inches. It's not the
Shoot
objective.
a unit somewhere on the board.
Yeah.
Is that what it says? Because it doesn't need to be on the objective or contesting it. You don't need to contest it. It's just somewhere close to an objective. Oh, there,
Yeah.
your back campers there sitting on your deck chair sitters.
Mhm.
I'm just going to shoot them.
Yeah.
Thank you. And take
Yeah.
your objective.
Yep.
Easy.
So relatively easy. It was like a 12-inch diameter is a big circle. So on some battle plans where the objectives are in the middle and stuff, maybe it's, you might
It's something for
you
later.
might
turns.
never have a case. Yeah.
I mean,
Cool.
in objective, in a game where there's lots of objectives, it's literally any unit on the battlefield. Just kill one.
Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah, but no others can be in 12 of that objective. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
that's what he's saying is a bit limiting.
Yeah, because the other thing is like in the current GHB, there's a lot of objectives that are near the center of the board. Sort of, you could be on one objective and be within 12 inches of another, almost potentially, of a unit and stuff. So it's, that sort of thing. Or if you play against KO and they move 12 inches into in range of the objective in your movement phase.
Yeah, true.
Okay, and the last one is stake a claim. You can only do this if you control fewer objectives than your opponent, and you complete it if you control more objectives than your opponent at the end of that turn. So it's the turn 3 one, or turn 1 if you deploy in an interesting way and you know you're going to take first turn.
This is gaining momentum without killing someone.
Yeah. Well, you have to, sort of, because gaining momentum, you just have to take one objective.
No, you have gaining momentum is kill someone and have more.
Yeah, but gain
This is
momentum.
just have more.
But gain momentum. You could start by already having more. You can already have more, and then pick gain momentum and just.
There's also an early game one. Like you're sitting on one objective.
Yeah.
He's taking 2. Okay, just gonna take 1 off you.
Yeah, you can potentially to plan for this.
These are all pretty achievable.
Easy. Yeah.
And then you add Desecrate, an eye for an eye, gaining momentum, a cunning maneuver. You have what? 4, 6, 10. For 5 rounds, you have a choice of 10 battle tactics that are all.
I think you're going to have turns. You're going to have turns where you're like, I could do this one.
You know what? What's gonna be my favorite new battle plan? Path of a Champion, where I can do 2 per turn.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
This is just gonna be points and points and points.
Yeah. Oh, that's
like I don't even care about the opponent. I'm just gonna score battle tactics.
Yeah, you just turn 1, opening salvo, blast them smithereens. Right, you die. Also, you're near an objective. Gone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there'll be some of these where you can do by doing the same thing. You get both like boots on the ground and desecrate their land, and you grapple onto.
The thing is with the 12 inches, because the center objectives are 11 inches away from the front line.
Yeah.
So that one screen is in 12 inches of that objective. You shoot that screen, you achieve it.
Yeah, that's cool. Basically, you're going to be scoring all of
you already
all
now.
5.
I am scoring 5 per game usually. If I don't screw up something really bad with a redeployer, I stop thinking for a second. But these are just easy. The grand strategy should be an auto conclude. So yeah.
Okay, so I predict here Vince Ventrella is going to lose his shit over this. He is going to hate these so much.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And anyone else that doesn't like army.
Matt, we want you to bring this up as much as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So they're easy. Okay, that's all the allegiance abilities. On to Warscrolls and points and all that stuff.
Yeah, I want to one kind of a legion ability. I want to point
Mm-hmm.
out is allies.
Yeah.
Still only Dwarden cities of Sigma.
Yeah.
This is very disappointing. Was hoping to get a battle mage or a hurricane, something like that. No, we're the only army that can get cities, but only Dwarden.
Yeah.
Because Fire Slayers, I think, can get all the cities. Sylvaneth can get all the cities, not just
And we
the
get
Sylvaneth units or the Wanderer units. So it's a bit, a bit disappointing, but okay.
And of course, we can get Fire Slayers and Stormcast. There's basically no changes there. We talked about some of these things to do a battle line earlier. So frigates in Sylvan,
Gunhaulers and Urbaz,
Urbaz,
Thunderers in Nar, or you take the command trait, Skywarns in Zon.
Yes.
Endrinriggers, as I learned today, if you have any Endrin Master in the army, doesn't need to be the general.
Yes.
That's fantastic. And the frigate in Zilfania. And the other units are there and cost points.
Yes. So points, Arcanauts 100, so up 10
back
the old points.
Back to 100. Yeah, what it used to be.
It's 300, but much better than they used to be. Ironclads 500, so a little bit more, and they've lost some stuff. So Chemist is 80. He's a bargain. We'll discuss why in a little while. Navigators 85, also cheap, but you probably won't be taking more than one.
No.
Admirals 125 is pretty good, I think. He's a good Galician champion, and he does have some cool command abilities.
Yes, he can have that flagship rule.
Yeah. Fundrick and his Profiteers 160 points for them both. I mean, if you're playing Nar, then maybe you might take them because then you get a hero and a Dex J unit for cheap, but probably not. Really, let's be honest, you're probably not taking them. Brock Grunson, 220 points.
220. Up he goes.
He's gone up in points, but he's worth it now because he actually does stuff.
I can't wait to talk about him. Let's get to his Warscroll soon.
Yes, the code right is 90, so that's cheap for what he does. Dreki is 130, which I think is a bit expensive when you think the code right is 90, and some of the things you can do with some of the other heroes.
I mean, Dreki has good shooting, he has good combat, so 130 is fair.
Yeah, I think they overvalue some of the stuff compared to what some of the abilities and that do. Dirigible suit 170. It's pretty cheap, I think.
Well, it's just the points that it used to be before the last effort.
Oh no, because he was 180. 60. Then he dropped to 160. So it's not. Yeah,
yeah, sure. He's a good Galician champion.
Yeah. Endrin Master of Endrin Harness 90 points. Yeah, fine.
Yeah, fine. Unlocks your battle line. Yep.
Yeah, it's a cheap way of getting a battle line. Riggers 120.
Same as these two.
A little bit. I don't want to say it's pricey, but do you know what I mean? It's like compared to what we were paying before, it is, but they've got better to make it worthwhile, so they're actually cheap. Does that make sense?
I don't know if they're cheap, but they're okay.
They're good value. Yeah.
I prefer them like 110, maybe, or 100. But yeah, sure.
The trouble is they're still fragile, but you can put them in the boats now, which helps.
Yep.
Gunhaulers 170, which I think is a little bit steep.
It is expensive.
Thunderers 135.
Still very expensive.
But they are good now.
They won't enforce.
Yeah, I'm surprised actually. It's interesting. Annoying. We have got things that round to 5 points, so we will see changes on the ad.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you which way these funders will go, because there's going to be a crazy guy in Australia playing like 200 of them, and then everyone's using these. Let's put them to 150 points.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alex.
Yeah. Thank you. So, and then Skyward's 130, so they've gone up a bit, but they are good.
So, personally at fault for keeping Thunderers up at 140 points.
Yeah.
So let's get on to some Warscrolls quickly. We had to go through these quick because we're on 2 hours already. Admiral, basically his stats are the same in terms of weapons and everything.
Wounds he can choose.
He can choose a flagship So you pick a ship, and it can be an Ironclad or frigate. So you can't pick a gunhauler. And once per turn, you can issue a command to its flagship without spending a command point.
Yeah, which is great. You need to do this on your list, so
Yeah.
you cannot swap between games. But it's great because we learned that admirals can issue these Iron Sky commands to the ships, and he can do it for free, basically.
I
Yeah.
would almost auto take one admiral per list.
It's,
But
it's
he's
a
only
free CP per
he's
turn.
only good if he's the general, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Which is, I mean, why would you want anyone else to be a general other than an admiral?
I don't know.
It's
But
no
this-
value.
Yeah.
If you take an admiral, you basically get 10 free CP because it's per turn, not your turns.
Yeah,
so you
but
can use
only
all that
issuing
defense.
to the flagship. So,
Yes. So it's limited,
See,
but 10
He
free
exists
CP basically.
to sit on that flagship.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more
Okay.
like 6 or 7. But yeah.
He has Grudge Breaker rounds, which basically is his old rend ability. He can give a unit rend, which is really good.
Once per game. Once per
Once
game,
per
one
game.
unit can get extra rend. Not sky vessels, sadly, still. But the unit can be inside a boat next to his
Mhm.
boat or something. Yeah, just
And this, if you have more than one admiral, it doesn't stack.
Yeah.
But
Give
I
it
will
to your.
shouldn't.
Yeah.
point
It
out
doesn't.
that
It doesn't stack with other admirals. It does stack with
yes,
Emerson.
there is another way to get +1 rend, and it stacks with that.
Yeah.
And then he has a command ability, which is bring every gun to bear. You can use it at the start of your shooting phase. The unit that receives the command must be a friendly sky vessel that's more than 3 inches from enemy units and remains stationary in the preceding movement phase, and didn't receive the fly high command. So basically, a ship can't have moved in any way unless it went over a bridge, maybe. You can add one to the.
Stationary.
I don't think
Yeah.
that's considered stationary.
Well, it works for Ironclads,
setup.
doesn't it?
Yeah, because their rule says has not moved,
Okay,
Yeah,
so
it's not
maybe
made a
FAQ on
move.
that.
not made a move. Yeah.
I don't think remain stationary is technically clarified in the book, like in the.
It's not gonna
core
go.
It's in the
rules
core rules, so
Let's
it's a thing
come on,
about stationary. So
guys.
we'll
You
check that at
cannot-
some point.
You can-
But
We
basically, you
have
get
a
to,
rules lawyer now as a model. This is
Yeah.
we're
this
allowed
is
to.
Lee.
We
I'm gonna
can.
paint mine
Yes.
looking like Lee.
We're just role
Yes.
playing now. This is
Okay.
this is good.
Anyway, what it does is it lets you add one to the attacks characteristic of that unit's missile weapons until the end of the phase, which sounds really good. But actually, when you consider you've got profiles that are like multiple attacks,
If
It's
I have
cool.
the footnote, can I stack this? Can I get 4 cannon shots, please?
yes,
Yes.
so you can get 4 cannon shots. So if you're doing that's what you want it for. Like getting an extra carbine shot doesn't make a massive difference. 'Cause-
Interesting. William Bromley's pointing out in the chat. The bring every gun to bear has not moved in a movement phase.
Yes,
If I moved in a hero phase with a navigator
yeah.
ability.
Or
Yeah.
with cunning fleet mark. Nah, cunning. Yeah, whatever.
No, that's in the
Yes.
enemy's
Yeah,
turn.
yeah,
So
Enemies,
that's
so.
last turn. Yep.
Yep. So
Interesting. Yeah.
it's good, but you have to remember you sacrifice all out attack. You can't use all out attack and this.
Unless you use
No.
the footnote.
Yes, unless
Yes.
you use the footnote. And then he also has command the skies, which I think is a bit better. You can use it at the start of the movement phase, and the unit that receives the command is a friendly sky vessel, more than 3 inches from enemy units, and that unit can re-roll run rolls for the phase, and in addition, can run and still shoot and charge later that turn.
Yes. What about the unit inside the ship?
Yes. So that's so there's questions about whether the unit, because the unit inside counts as having
Counts as
run,
running,
but won't receive the run and shoot and charge. So
but they
then
won't
will
be able to shoot. Yeah.
Yes, but then what if you charge with the ship? Will they count as charged?
Yeah, I guess they would.
But they can't
and-
charge because they ran. So this is going to be something that's going to need
Next
an
next
FAQ.
thing, when the Ironclad piles in, then they
Yes.
count as already having piled in. Now, when I
Yes.
activate them, I cannot pile in. Technically, it's just
Yeah.
it's a lot of questions.
But run basically he can give a ship run, shoot, and charge. which is good.
What
One ship. Yep.
what I have been doing with this in the Zon list is one boat flies high and 3d6 charges. The other boat gets 2d6 run and charge, and then that's how you get 2 boats to hit at the same time anywhere on the board, basically.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
2 frigates.
Cool. So Admiral, pretty good. Good command abilities.
He lost the +1 to hit versus heroes and monsters.
Yes, he also lost his 3+ passing wounds off, which is probably the biggest thing.
Yes.
But yeah, he's got 6 wounds and a 3+ save, so he's still tanky.
2 up in a boat. Yeah.
Next up, Drekkie.
Drekkie Flint.
I don't know why I put Drekkie next, but
Changed slightly.
did he? What changed?
Yes. His.
The Ace-Wing can't be a flagship.
I think
anymore.
the stealing artifact doesn't have to be inside the boat anymore. Outside the boat.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
They have updated it because you can pick the ship that you pick to be
That's
the
cool.
Ace-Wing can also be picked to be a flagship.
Yep.
So if you have him in the army, you can't have that to be a frigate to be the Ace-Wing and be a flagship.
It's kind of a shame that you can't have like the Ace-Wing but be your flagship, but also it makes sense because it wouldn't be another admiral's flagship.
Mhm.
But he's not an admiral. He's just a
Yes.
lousy.
And also
monarch.
lore-wise, is like he's kind of like, I don't know. He's like a
People
motley
don't like him
crew
very
of
much.
people that
I
aren't
think.
very good. So, so the start of the conversation. Yeah, so
this unit cannot be used while embarked. Oh, yeah, my bad.
Yeah,
Last
so
sentence.
that's all they changed. So he can potentially steal artifacts, but the fact that he can't do it inside a ship is a little bit annoying.
Be
And it's at
Monar,
this-
steal their
he's-
command points, steal their artifacts. Have
But
your
he's
plan,
inside the
have your
frigate, so that frigate will charge in, and boom, he's outside. He can steal artifacts.
Yes. So, and you might be able to get him over the top of a screen or something and still be holding free or something to get next to a hero as well. So that's quite cool.
Yeah.
But I
He's
don't think
interesting.
I'm taking him.
It's 2d6 carbine shots, which is not bad.
That is nice.
But 9 inches, so yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In Monar, you might consider him.
Yeah, but I don't know. He's not for me. Next, Chemist. So basically, the Chemist can give a unit rend. That's
This
good.
has already been FAQ'd before the book was even out for pre-order.
Yes, this has been FAQ because the way it reads is that it stacks, and they've said that it doesn't stack.
No.
Doesn't say you can't give a unit Thunderers Rend 7. But then the FAQ came out on the day of pre-order, but before pre-orders went live, saying no.
And he can't do it while he's inside a ship or while the unit he's giving Rend to is inside a ship.
Yeah, and he does it start of shooting, not in the hero phase, so you cannot do it like outside and get in.
No.
You actually, everyone needs to be outside. So this is where the combat landing is for. Everyone after the ship has moved gets out in front of the ship, so he gets in range with his 9-inch Hoover thingy, and then gives Rend to the unit next to him. And he's the only hero I think that has a 4-up save.
Yes, he is.
Everyone else has a 3-up save.
Yeah. So he's going to be a sort of a target to, get. If you're doing some shenanigans, you might want to give him like the Night Flyer thing or the other thing to teleport.
Tunnel Master,
yeah. Or do some shenanigans elsewhere because you want him near Thunderers and stuff to buff their shooting because he's cool.
Yep.
He also still has a -1 to hit rolls thing.
Yeah, play models
enemy
in
models.
Same. Yeah.
But he can't use that. He can't use it while it's embarked still. They just changed the wording on that slightly.
Yep.
And everything else is the
80
same.
points, and you can have a spell bottle for an 85 points spell.
I mean,
yeah.
85 points for +1 Rend? It's a bargain.
He's 80 points.
80 points then.
Yeah.
But anyway, that makes it even more of a point. Okay.
So he can take an endless spell for free that costs more than he does.
Yes.
Yeah. And he gives Rend, but it's a bit complicated to set up because you need to be outside of the boat to use it.
So next up is Fundrick, who is basically a chemist, but he's different to the chemist now because they used to be that the chemist had reroll ones to wound and he had reroll ones to hit. So there was slightly different. But now, he has 3d6 attacks. Oh no, wait, that's the same.
Doesn't the other
Don't
one
worry.
have 3d6
It's the same.
attacks?
Yeah, the other one has 3d6 attacks. For some reason, I've got excited then, thinking it was different, but it's the same. Anyway, once per battle, at the start of the combat phase, you can say that this unit will release toxic gases. If you do so, for each enemy unit within 6 inches of this unit, roll a number of dice equal to the number of models in the unit that were within 6 inches. And for each 5+, they suffer a mortal wound. So
No.
it's Breath of Morgrim, but with less range.
Present for Morgrim
And it's in the combat phase.
in the combat phase, and people need to be around your ship. And no.
You know what this is? It's the caustic anatomizer old artifact that no one used.
Yeah.
So that's not that great, but I guess you could, if you really wanted to, you could build a thing where you have that and Breath of Morgrim and that sort of thing. But
Yeah. And he's Baraknar keyworded, so.
Yep. Once per turn, he can issue a command to front his profiteers, which are like the unit that goes with him, without spending a command point, which is okay.
Okay.
But yeah, it's not great, really. And then you have the profiteers, which basically they give him a 4+ ward, which makes him survivable.
They give him a 4 ward, which is good. But the pistol went to 9 inches. It used to be 12 inches.
They brought all the weapons in line with the Arcanaut and other ones. So
they're basically Arcanauts and Thunderers and one Sky Warden.
Yes.
The Sky Warden, it has the same Sky Pike profile.
Yeah, and they've the Sky Pike and the Vulcanizer pistols.
Not horrible in melee, but 160 points for that team. Takes up a leader slot. No.
Well, it's actually 2 wounds each as well, which is interesting because it's and then Draxcure has 3 wounds, whereas I think there were 1 wound each before.
Yeah, and he had the flank guy.
So it's a little bit annoying that the Sky Warden in this has 3 wounds, but the Sky Wardens didn't get 3 wounds and Endrinworks didn't. But who knows?
Also, the privateer pistol went down to 9-inch range.
Yeah,
Rip the
that
old
makes sense.
12-inch range pistol.
Yeah,
the thing is, yes, what Max said. What is a shame
Alex,
about this
keep attention.
would be if Borg Fundrick could count as a Gleason champion, which he can't because he's unique.
No,
well,
why are we spending time talking about this? Come on.
Okay.
This is trash.
Important things.
Come on.
Right, the code right.
Yes, interesting.
Rules lawyer.
Finally.
Yes, so 5 wounds, a 3+ save. So at the start of the hero phase, if he's within 6 inches of another friendly KO hero, you can roll 2 dice, and for each 4+, you receive a command point. So yeah, he probably will be because they're probably in a boat together.
Basically, I take him, but I take him almost every time in a list, but only if I don't have Scholar and Arcanaut as a command trait.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Otherwise, he's kind of useless.
He's going to give you 1 command point per turn extra. So if you don't want to go Gnar, but you want command points, he's a good option.
You could take 2 of these or lots of them and spam command points.
Take Gnar. Take
the thing that's a bit annoying about his ability is that it's a heroic action.
Yes,
so
the
it's
other
not just an ability. It's a heroic
so not
action.
for the CP one, but the other one.
No,
yeah. So his heroic action is search for precedent. You roll a dice, and on a 1, nothing happens. On a 2 to 3, you can pick a new footnote to apply for your army until the end of the battle. And on a 4+, you can pick a new amendment or a new footnote, so you can pick both if you want to, or just 1. You got all choice. So yeah, it's really good because then you can do the 3d6 charge and then pick someone else, or you can do the shoot at your back at your opponent and then switch to the 3d6 charge. It's good.
Basically, you get more rules.
Yes.
You get more out of your allegiance abilities. With him for 90 points, that's pretty good. And he's carrying the Battletome to point out where it needs an FAQ.
Yeah, just James Tindale says in the chat that that's the most anyone's ever talked about the privateers.
Yes.
What he doesn't know is I did a whole video on them when they come out. Yes. The Navigator. So stats are all the same.
Yes.
All the same. He still gets to unbind and dispel. So that's cool. And then Read the Winds is his new ability, which basically combines the two abilities he had into one, but they still do two different things. So basically, it doesn't matter how many navigators you have, you can only use his ability once. So you just pick one of them to use it. You roll 6 dice, and then after you've rolled, you choose which effect you want to have. One of the effects happens on 6s, one happens on 1s. So the one that so one of them is a for storm, so which that's on 1s, and for each roll of a 1, you pick a different enemy unit within 30 inches and is visible, and that enemy unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. And then, in addition, any mortal wounds caused by this ability that are allocated to the unit and not negated half the unit's move characteristic.
So it can be stopped by ward saves, but yeah, Max, you're a big fan of this.
I am. I'm a fan of the fact that you can roll first and then decide. So if you're gonna roll 4 6s and 1 1, you might go for the other for the favorable conditions. And that's where Stormcaller, the command trait that we talked about earlier, is so good because you can re-roll any of the dice.
So if you roll 2 1s, you can then roll the other 4.
I have 2 1s or have 1 1. Let's go re-roll all the other ones to maybe get another 1 or even 2 1s. So this is 30 inches. And it's not just having move. That's fantastic. But I mean, it's D3 mortals, so you can like tag small heroes with this. D3 mortals, D3 mortals, D3 mortals. Fantastic.
Yeah,
it's a bit a shame that you need to do the mortals before having the move.
Yes,
it affects everyone, not just flying units as it used to be. So it's a big win. Like one of these is an auto include, in my opinion.
It's a shame that stuff with good wards is they roll the but you only have to get one of them through. So if you get like 3 mortal wounds with the D3, then there's still a good chance, even if they got a decent ward. So
there's always a chance.
Okay. And we should say what the 6 does, which the 6 is you pick a sky vessel within 30 units that's visible, and that sky vessel can make a normal move of D3 plus 3 inches. And this is in the hero phase.
Exactly. This is in the hero phase. So this is what gives you extra move or extra range on a spell bottle, for example. Because you can potentially move a ship 6 inches more. So it's a, Lord Arcanum, Knight Arcanum guy from Stormcast that can add 6 inches to an endless spell. This adds 3 plus D3, basically. It gets a ship forward to then get people disembarking and moving. So this is within 30 inches. Like this is 2 or 3 of your ships on the board. You say everyone just move forward.
Yeah.
So it's another source of move. You move them with this. Then you add +2, +4 through Endrinworks and articles and whatnot. Then you run them. You run them with 2d6. Then you can run and charge and shoot. So you charge them with 3d6. You're gonna see frigates going from one corner of the board to the other side and back. It's fantastic.
Don't need fly high anymore.
No, that's the thing. You don't specifically need fly high.
Yeah. I guess the only thing is you can't drop bombs with this because it's just not you. Even if you get a 3 with a D3, it's not enough. Because you're
fly
more
over
fridges
and around.
Yeah, you'd need 7. So that's a shame.
Yeah.
It would have been really abusive if it didn't say normal move and you could use it to get out of combat. Because you just fly out and they'd be like, "Oh, I'm gonna drop bombs on you as well," so fly out.
No.
If you could walk out of combat with this, that would be nuts.
Yes. But
it's still fantastic.
Cool.
3
and
up
you can
save,
move.
So he's on a 2 up save inside the boat.
Yeah. One thing this is potentially D3 plus 3 to casting range of a spell in a ball.
Yeah.
Next,
that's what I meant.
Endrin Master with Endrin Harness. So he got a buff to his save because he used to have a 4+ save.
Yes.
So you've got after a save. His hammer is the same though, I think. Yes.
Yes,
his
it
hammer's
lost it lost the mortal wounds.
Yes, the actual
Oh,
stats
yeah.
of the hammer are the same. Yeah,
Mhm.
the abilities have changed. So he doesn't do any more wounds on 6s anymore. So he has 2 abilities. One is II Captain, which is the start of the hero phase. If he's embarked and has not used his Endrinmaster ability, you can say he will attempt to crank up the power. And if you do so, you roll a dice. On a 1, the transfer vessel he's embarked in suffers D3 mortal wounds. And on a 2+, the vessel can use the top row of their damage table.
Yeah, you're always going to do this because both at the start of hero phase you do this, and then at the start of hero phase you do the next thing, which is Endrinmaster ability, healing a flat 3 wounds now, not D3.
Yeah.
So you're always going to heal up whatever damage you just did if you rolled a 1.
I feel like this guy's
Yes.
worse though, and he was never really used to begin with. Now we'll use him less.
Yeah, I didn't use him much because of the D3 healing. Now 3 healing flat is pretty good.
Yeah.
He unlocks Endrinrigger as battle line. He can take bomblets now.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. He lost his Gaze of Grogny shot, which is a bit of a shame. It's like he's the only guy
Yes.
without a missile profile.
He doesn't have a gun. He
Warscroll.
just stared at people and that did damage
He
somehow.
lost his touch.
He lost his laser beam. He's not the Homelander anymore.
But top racket is important for bombs and for frigates to do the other thing.
Ironclad movement.
And ironclad
otherwise they're stuck
movement.
at
Yeah. So
4 or 5 inch.
it's a good ability to have. Healing is always nice. He's 80 points. Yeah. It's a shame that he doesn't have the ability of the other Endrinmaster, which is I think better.
And in Zon, he's 3 attacks, 2s and 2s with 3 damage.
Yeah.
So,
only 1 rend. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll get used to that only 1 rend because it's in a lot of places. Okay.
Yeah.
Next, Endrinmaster with dirigible suit. So
Also lost his laser beam.
Lost his laser beam.
Yes.
Yep. But the Ether
other than
cannon gained range. Now both are 18 inches.
Yes, and the saw is the same, unlike Endrinriggers, who had their swords changed. So that's that. So he has different abilities. So he can heal the sky vessel, which is the same. He has that ability, but he doesn't have the II Captain one. But he does have the one that he used to have, which is when you use Endrinriggers to heal a ship, you can add 1 to the roll. It was a reroll before, wasn't it?
Before they could reroll their roll,
Yeah, and it was a command ability before. So now he gives them add 1 to Endrinriggers. And it's units where they're wholly within 12 inches of him, so they don't have to be very close to him to
they could be repairing a different boat.
Yeah, quite far away. And the fact that it's +1 is quite important because it does mean that something else triggers better.
I mean, yeah, if we're talking about like the healing, because there's a lot of healing, it's the fact it goes off once per turn.
Yes, the Endrinriggers.
Yeah, we need to
not the
discuss
Endrinmaster, but
no, his is always start of your hero phase.
Yes.
Yeah.
But again, 3 wounds.
Yes.
We'll talk about healing later.
Yes, when we get to them.
He's a great Galician champion, 12-inch move, he can fly, free up save, good melee.
Yeah, I'm glad that it doesn't. His suit doesn't count as a mount still.
Yes.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's good. Or a companion. Companion balloon. Okay, next, Brock Grunson. So Brock has had some changes because he's lost his mustache guns because they've become an ability now. Grunson's one of his weapons changed, so I'm sure it did. Oh yeah, Grunson's boast is now D3 +3 damage.
And 18 inches.
And 18 inches, yeah, because it was at 9 or 12 before.
12, I think.
And his swords are the same. So he's a war master. So if he's in a barrack Nar army, he's treated as a general. Which is cool. Which means you can still make the admiral your general. It's nice. His mustache things aren't a shooting attack anymore. Basically, each time he fights, after all of his attacks have been resolved, you can pick one enemy unit within 3 inches of this unit and roll a dice. On a 2+, the enemy unit suffers D3 more wounds. So he's like a dragon. He can drag you into the Tempest.
Kind of.
Yeah, basically, it's what they do. They roll a dice after all the combat and they do some more wounds. So he just gets right up in his face and he releases some gas from his mustache, basically. But
Point
you know,
blank
and
mustache shots.
he does some mortal wounds in combat. Okay.
Yeah, instead of the impact hits that he used to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
If he makes a charge move in the same turn, add 1 to attacks characteristic of melee weapons used by friendly Barak-Nar Skyfarer units while they're wholly within 12 inches of this unit.
Yeah.
That's
Why
really
is
good.
this? Why is this Barak-Nar?
Oh, because
If you could combo with Baragzon.
it would be broken.
Exactly.
Yes.
No, it is pretty good. It's +1 attack on everyone that charged, including himself. So when he charges, he'll always be on 5 saw attacks with D3 damage. That's pretty good.
Yes.
And
This is
remember,
really
if
good
he's
with
in a-
Endrinworks.
If he's in a
is
frigate that
great with
charged, he
Endrinworks.
counts as having charged as well.
Mm-hmm.
This is great with Sky ones as well. It's great with everyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Barak-Nar, so to get the maximum out of him, you have to play him in Barak-Nar.
Yes.
So what you're doing, you're competing with either +1 to hit and wound in Zon as a buff, or him in Barak-Nar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For +1 attack. I think it maths out at almost the same. Almost.
Okay, but that's not all he has, because he has Command the Fleet. So you use this command ability at the start of your movement phase. You pick up to three friendly sky vessels that are more than 3 inches from enemy units to receive the command. In that phase, you can reroll run rolls for the units, and basically it's the same as the Admiral one. In addition, they can run and still shoot or charge later that turn. So he does what the Admiral does, but he does it to 3 ships.
Yeah, your entire fleet is now run and shoot and charge.
Yes. So this also means the FAQ with the guys inside the boats.
Same issue. I assume when it says use your command ability, but there's no range, that it is 12 inches or 18 inches in NAR because he's a general.
Yes. Yeah, because if they don't give a range, it's
always the standard range. Yeah. So it's and he can use this outside of NAR because it doesn't say Barak-Nar Sky Vessels. Anyone.
So it's the Admiral one, but for 3.
Yes.
Basically.
And as we mentioned with the Admiral, it happens in the movement phase, so you can't stack that potentially with some of the other movement phase stuff like fly high and disengage and stuff, unless you're using the footnote to receive 2 commands and stuff like that.
Yeah. So he is very good. He does a lot, but I think the best you get out of him in Barak-Nar.
Yeah.
He just does a lot of damage. Like, just take him in anything. Give him, like the 6 carbine shots at 18.
He has an Iron Blaster shot. Yeah. 2 rend D3 +3.
He does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's the only D3 +3 damage shot that hits on 3s naturally in our book, so that's nice.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, just like giving everything wholly within 12 inches of him +1 attack is just mental.
If he charged.
Yes.
So if everyone is already in combat and he charges in as the
they don't have to charge.
The combat. Everyone gets an extra attack.
Yeah, he's like, wait for me, boys, and then all of a sudden they're much better.
But obviously, best in a frigate where then everyone also gets to strike first.
Yeah, because then he gets out, and then everyone's. Or actually, you could leave him in potentially. You want to get him out as well, so he has strikes first. But if he stays in, then you get a bigger circle like that. Yeah. But he's good.
Is going to be in lists now, in actual real lists now, and I'm so happy.
Yes.
Yep. There is.
Okay. So they're the heroes. Onto units. Archanaut Company. So they had some changes. The volley gun went to 2d6 shots and it's 15-inch range now, which is a bit more range. They basically made the volley gun and the skyhook the same range, which is good.
But
because I always forgot which way around they were.
Volley gun was 12.
Army with very little rend, it lost its rend.
Yes.
It lost a rend, but it hits on 4s now instead of 5s.
Yes.
This is true.
And it's 2d6, which is on average more because it
Yeah,
should be
7.
7. So more in theory, more attacks. I don't like d6 or 2d6 attacks because it's a bit swingy. Seems a bit,
Right. Yeah.
but so there's that. The skyhook went down to 15-inch range.
You know why it lost a rend?
Because you
it's
can
easier
go.
to roll. You're gonna roll the volley gun
Yeah.
shots, and then you can roll them all together with the pistol shots.
Yeah. The other thing
yeah.
is you can give the unit rend. So
Yeah.
for a chemist. So and then they changed the Aether Flare pistol and the volley pistol. So the volley pistol's the same, but the Aether Flare pistol is now freeze and freeze with -2 rend.
I didn't see -2. Wow.
Yeah.
I don't
Still
know.
gonna take
I
Yeah.
built all volley pistols, and it's easier to roll. Just
Oh
put them together
man,
Yeah,
with
you're
it's easier
telling me
to
that
roll.
anyone will know which gun your captain's got when they look at you like the little tiny dude? They wouldn't even know which one's the captain. Okay, so that's that anyway. Glory Seekers is while they're not embarked, you can add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by this unit that target a unit contesting an objective. So basically, they don't have to be on the objective now. The opponent has to be on the objective.
Yeah, well, it's
Yeah.
so much worse than
But
being
it's
within
not
3 inches or within 9 of an objective.
it's not holding, like they don't have to be controlling the objective. They just have to be on the objective or contesting. So
Mhm.
against Gits, even it's if that Gits unit is within 9 of the objective, it still counts as contesting, and therefore you
And
can
that
shoot.
the whole unit doesn't. They only have to have like 1 model on the objective, and then you get +1 to hit against their whole unit. So
One guy
Yeah.
puts his
Yeah.
toe over that line, and you go, right, that's it, you're dead.
yeah,
Yeah,
and then the
Skyhook is
skyhook
damage-free.
damage free if it's a monster. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a theme now in the army. Like
Yeah.
skyhooks, all kind of skyhooks do
we don't
flat,
like monsters anymore.
the
Apparently,
flat damage against monsters. Yeah, Arcanauts. That's green.
yeah. Do you think they can ever be more on the screen? Because in the last book, towards the end, 20 Arcanauts and
I am playing them. I am next week and still playing old book, playing them as a big threat, but without all the rerolls,
Yeah,
it's hard.
it was
Then
coming
Because they were
maybe
4s and 4s.
maybe in Fring, but the issue is to get them in range in Fring, you need to do the combat landing, and you will not get all 20 like in front of the ship wholly within 3 and still
Yeah.
be in 9 of the it's hard
What
to
if you
do.
bridge them instead?
Well, even worse.
Yeah.
Bridge 30.
Yeah, but then
bridge is
they need
6
to be 9
inches.
inches away.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So the big thing was
Oh
the
no, but you can
zero
bridge.
phase move.
Oh no,
You can
I was
get
gonna say you
them
could bridge
3
the ship, but
inches.
you still have to be 3 inches when you get out. So,
But the big thing was they were 3 inches in front of the screen, so they could target whatever was behind the screen.
yeah.
Now, best they will do is target the screen.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I don't see them being played in
Yeah.
more than like
Yeah,
MSM.
and before you were giving them +1 to hit, +1 to wound, re-roll all hits, re-roll 1s to wound. You're not
Exactly. 2
Giving, you might be
rends
giving them +1 to hit now,
and
but
ignoring wards. Yeah. So no.
It's yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think
Now
if you want to
Now
play
they're
that
screens.
now, if you want to do that, you use Thunders. You're gonna include some of these as screens, and because you have that amendment that they can count as 2.
hmm
Yeah.
So that's good.
You're right.
And they also
25 mil bases. Yeah.
lost out a bit because that you would often use A for gold on them in the past to pass Battle Shock, and now we've lost
Yes.
that.
They lost the Battle Shock. They lost the reroll for Battle Shock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're going to be
It's-
dying a lot easier now as well.
They're gonna die easier. So maybe 20s because you can rally on a 4-up, but
Yes.
it's just a screen.
hmm
Sadly.
Okay. Moving on. So Thunderers,
Ugh.
I've cropped this a bit funny just to try and fit everything in. So
Um,
rifles are the same.
Yeah.
Nice and easy. Fumigators, D6 attacks, but they auto hit. At freeze to wound, no rend, 1 damage. I find that annoying because it's basically the same type of thing as a chemist, and his is like forced to hit, an auto hits and has -2 rend. So it's like there's no consistency with the fart guns at all.
Yeah, and then at the end on a 2+, you do T3.
Yeah, T3 mortal wounds in combat is okay. Yeah, it's pretty good if you got them. Deck sweepers. Fumigators also went up to 12-inch range, I should add. Okay.
Do they still reduce hits by
No.
1?
No, they've got rid of that. Deck sweepers, 5 attacks now, and 3s and 4s -1 rend, so still the same profile as rifles, which is good because you can roll them all together.
Yeah,
but you get 5 now. It used to be 4, I think.
Oh, because they used to be 4s and 4s, but you basically got the +1 to hit built in now.
So now you don't have to be in.
Yeah, but no,
boat.
I meant there used to be 4 shots.
Yes,
That,
they got more
Now
shots.
they have 5 shots.
Yes, there are more shots, and they used to be 4s and 4s, and you do all use the abilities.
Yeah, again, same. You can roll them together with rifles.
Yes, but it also means they can get +1 to hit on top of that. Whereas before the best they were 3s to hit, now they can be 2s to hit.
Yeah.
So the better.
Yeah, they can be 2s, and they can be 2s to hit in a boat. They don't have to get out anymore.
Yeah.
They can cruise around in their boat, just mowing people down with their special weapons.
Yeah. The cannon got a massive glow up. It's gone up to 18-inch range. Still only 1 attack, but now it hits on 3s instead of 4s. -2 rend, and it's now flat 3 damage. Rather than D3. So that's cool.
So and it also gets the +1 to it. Yeah.
Yeah. And
flat 3.
The mortar got 18-inch range, so it's more of a mortar now.
Finally.
And then it has the number of attacks equal to the number of models in the unit you're attacking, up to a maximum of 5.
So pretty much it's got 5 shots.
Well, unless you're trying to shoot a hero or something.
Usually 5.
Some eels or I don't know.
Yeah.
But 3s and 3s and no rend. And 1 damage.
Man,
but if you're adding rend to the unit, then it's good.
Yeah, you add 2 rend to this unit, and they put out so many more shots now. So many more.
Yeah. It's just the mortar, everyone always only built 1 because you needed it for the +1 to hit. I need to see if I still have the bits to build the second one.
I've got so many mortars. I'm ready for this.
I'm not sure how I feel about the mortars, really, because they are good if you target multi-model units, but they're not good if you want to shoot heroes or something. So if you build a unit and you want to put them in sharpshooters, then do you want to?
They're pretty good. They're especially good if you're looking to maximize shots for the Fring Prayer.
Yeah, because there is just a lot of shots here. If you start adding rend and you do all-out attack, there's just sheer weighted dice.
Yeah, it's hitting on 2s with all-out attack.
They have some other abilities. So they have suppressing fire, which is the world's most complicated way of giving an enemy unit -1 to hit.
Yes.
It doesn't need to be this complicated. It's an over-engineered ability, and I think
so. You do damage. You roll 2d6. The amount of damage you add to the roll, if that's more than bravery, they're suppressed, which means -1 to hit. Until the next your next hero phase.
Yes. Well, the thing is your whole unit has to shoot them. So if some of them aren't in range, then your whole then you can't do it because it's not the whole unit that's shot. It's just
every model in you has to shoot.
And you have to be visible. So like if you've got one guy that can't see because he's on the table behind train or something, it's unnecessarily.
You will forget about this.
Or you just think, I can't bother do it because I'm just going to kill the unit anyway.
Yeah.
You usually just kill the unit.
Yes. And then lastly, you have a drill bill, which is each time the unit fights, once all of its attacks have been resolved, if you have a gunnery sergeant, pick 1 enemy unit within 3 inches and roll a dice on a 5+, they suffer a mortal wound.
This is the one you're going to forget about.
Because it's on a 5+. At least make it a 4+ or something. But between that and fumigators, they can actually do a couple more wounds in combat. And then Randall in the chat points out that suppressing fire triggers every time you shoot. Yeah, so if you unleash hell, then you can make something.
You come in, you make them
-1 to hit, or if you shoot in your opponent's turn. So yeah,
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's a good use of it. So they're
because they
-1
also
to
lost
hit.
their +1 attacks when they're in combat.
Yeah,
ability,
so
didn't
they lost that.
But they've got
And-
extra attacks on a lot of the weapons anyway.
You know what got much better?
What?
Gunbutts wound on a 4 now.
Didn't they always hit wounded?
No,
on a
they
four?
always
No.
wounded on a 4. Yes.
The
No.
the
Was it on a
Thunderers
5?
did. The Arcanaut gunbutt hit.
All
Yeah,
gunbutts in the
they're-
freaking book always wounded on 5. Are you telling me
No.
that these guys didn't?
Thunderer gunbutts have always been better than Arcanaut gunbutts.
Oh, okay. Well, there
Um,
goes
There we
that.
go.
so like my thoughts of it's gonna take like 20 minutes per unit to shoot this thing, but it's also
No,
a lot better.
no, it's not.
Mm.
You know how many shots you have. Most of them are 3s and 4s. The rest is 3s and 2s. And that one mortar.
Yeah, okay.
It used to be when I played 20 of these. It took much longer
Mm-hmm.
because some had rends, some didn't, some autoimmune
Yeah.
teams, that blah blah blah. It would took 20 minutes to do it. Now it's gonna take you 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's a bit quicker. I think they're
But it's
good.
still very
I
good.
like them.
I want to run 30.
Yeah, we'll do it. Run 30.
Yeah, interesting. Gunbutt always was. Okay.
There was something I was going to say about them, but I can't remember. So let's move on.
Move on,
so I
yeah.
think they're good. You're going to see them on the table.
Yep.
They're cool. And you'll see them with mixed weapons now. You won't. Yeah, that's the thing that's disappointing is that I don't even know if you can have the option. I assume. Yeah.
Well,
1 in every 5 minutes going to replace every short rifle with. Yeah. So there is the option still to have all rifles, but you're not going to see it. You'd always want at least a cannon because
yeah,
why not?
cannon and the deck sweeper because it's just more shots.
The problem that they do have a little bit is force to wound, and you've lost gold and stuff. So that
Yeah.
But we solved that with the player.
yes, they got a 3+ save we mentioned as well. Also, I want to point out that a lot of damage here comes from the cannon. So if you've got 15 guys,
Yeah.
even if you lose quite a few guys, a lot of that damage is still coming from the cannon.
Three
And
dudes
you
with
could have like
cannons.
three guys left, and they actually could still put out a lot of damage. So
Yep.
Yeah.
Make the cannon the standard bearer.
yeah.
I always
Okay.
made my standard bearer the mortar, so I didn't like just forget and just took it out and go, oh wait, hang on, shit.
Yeah, you don't get the ability anymore. Okay, so
Yeah, no.
Endrinworks, same move and save and everything. Rivet guns have gained an extra pip of rend, so
Yes.
-2 rend, which is really
Why,
good.
but sure, I'll take it.
Volley
Great.
guns, grapnels, and skyhooks and drill launchers all went to 15-inch range. Volley guns are 2d6, still
shit.
4s and 4s, but lost their rend.
Yeah, not good.
And then
and lost so much range.
yes, and the skyhooks used to be flat 3 damage, didn't they?
Yes,
Yes.
skyhooks and
Yeah.
grapnels used to be flat free.
Yeah, so they've lost them. Saws gained an extra attack though.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's really big. That's doubled their damage output in melee, pretty much.
Yep.
So that's good. And then you factor in getting proc and charging, they could be 3 attacks each. When bear in mind the best we got in the old book was 1 attack each. That's massive.
Yeah, back in first ed you could get it at 2, but now
Yeah.
it's, yep.
Yeah, 3 attacks each.
Yeah, basically, Games Workshop said, you know how you built all your balloon boys with guns? You can take those guns,
Yeah.
throw them out the window,
Yeah. How can
bring
we
back the
sell
stores.
more? Yeah.
And now I've found that I've got a lot of Gigas with swords from first edition,
Yeah,
but I didn't
same
actually
from
have
first
any
edition.
like wardens.
You
And,
must
like,
have 3 wardens at least from when
I
you were
have,
like
like-
running
I've
us.
got everything. 12
Yeah,
wards,
because
got,
you
like,
played Zon.
500
Yeah.
Endrinworks with all weapons, all swords, whatever.
Hmm.
I'm
got, like-
ready for this.
Yes.
6 or 12 wardens with pikes because of that one time in second edition where pikes were good, but
When you
now
were
I'm
playing
feeling
Zon.
like I need 24 because
Yeah.
I think you can
Kyle
run a
put
mixture
that
of
stuff in the
Zon.
chat.
Okay, let's go through these Warscrolls.
Yeah.
Not through your
quick.
cabinet.
Drill launchers still do mortal wounds on a 6.
Yep.
Field repairs, so they still heal the boats.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
Now it's the end of any phase, including in your opponent's turn.
Once per turn.
Once per turn. Yeah.
Once per turn per unit. You have to be more than 3 inches from enemy units, so they can't do it while they're in combat. But the boat can be in combat.
So they can sit behind the boat and
yes.
just heal it as the boat is fighting and getting other units to charge in and such.
So you roll a dice for each model in the unit. And also it's hang on.
It's within 3 inches. It used to be 1 inch, I think.
Yeah, the other thing is you roll a dice for each model within an inch last time, I think. And now just the unit has to be in range.
No, the unit needed to be within 1, and then you could conga line out and everyone repair. But now
maybe
it's 3
it's just
inches,
the distance.
so it's better.
But yeah, anyway, it used to just be on a 4+ you healed 1 wound. Now on a 4 to 5 you heal 1 wound, and on a 6 you heal 2 wounds. Which bear in mind,
remember the Endrin Master ability, he adds 1, so on a 5 you heal 2 wounds, on a 3 plus you heal 1.
Yeah.
So on average, if you have 3 of these, you're gonna heal 4 wounds.
Mm-hmm.
If with an Endrin Master.
No, if you have 6 of them, you're gonna heal 4 wounds. Yeah, because you're gonna have 6 dice, so 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6 on average. And if you have an Endrin Master, you're gonna heal more.
I still think it's a missed opportunity that they can't repair the balloons on Skyriggers and Brocken. They should be able to, because it's mechanical. They should be able to repair it. That'd be cool.
But there's still a dead guy hanging in the suit. What are you doing about
it?
him?
But it's 1 wound for the guy and one wound for the balloon, isn't it? Oh well. Anyway, and then the grapnel launcher is a teleport.
Yes.
So basically, it's while you've got a grapnel launcher in the unit. It doesn't matter how many you have, because there's none of this rolling a 4+ like it was in first. You only need 1. Okay, so what you can do is at the end of the movement phase, you can try and grapnel yourself to something. If you do so, you pick a point on the battlefield within 15 inches of the unit that is on a terrain feature. So there needs to be a terrain feature within 15 inches. And then what you can do is you can remove this unit from the battlefield and set them up again wholly within 3 inches of that point and more than 9 inches from enemy units. So you can actually basically get 18 inches, sort of, because you pick the point and then go 3 inches from the other side of it. But realistically, you have to go around in a little circle.
Importantly, you can. So, you start with Endrinriggers or Skywarns. They have the same rule inside the boat. You disembark wholly within 3.
Yes. Then you move them.
You run them.
Yes.
For 18 inches.
Yeah.
Then you pick a terrain feature 15 inches away. You grapple over there. You set up 3 inches on the other side of the terrain feature.
Yeah. Well, 3 of the point. Yeah.
42-inch move? I don't know.
Yeah.
But you did a lot of moving.
Although the best thing to do is not run, because they have 12-inch range guns with -2 rend, and you drop 9 inches away.
Yeah. No, I was going for the maximum as possible. So you're 6 guys. Okay, let's say you don't run. So it's a 30-something move. You just move down in a unit 30 inches over the board to the other side to then shoot. And
do you know what this is? This is a free desecrate their lands. Just straight away. Just do it.
Yeah, it's desecrate. It's free movement. Again, it's free movement.
Yeah.
You moved and then another 15 inches of move. You can set up screens like this, desecrate the lands. You can do fun things like ruin the grand strategies for IDK and gets, and I think the Hearthstone from Beast of Chaos. Yeah, that's cool.
And if you've got 6 of them, 18 attacks, 3s and 4s, -2, that's pretty good. They kill something.
Yep.
9-inch charge is not so good, but you could re-roll it. Then they also got the Skyhook is damage free if it targets a monster. But you're not taking that. You're taking swords and pistols.
Can I do this? Can I do this in combat? Like from within 3 inches?
When this unit includes any models what's about the end of your movement facing this unit? Yes, doesn't say that you can't. Yeah, you can do this to get out of combat. Great. So if you've got a chance of double turning next, you can get out of combat, which is good because these guys are squishy.
Include. at the end of your movement phase. Okay.
Yeah.
So
But-
I am in combat, and I say, okay, I'm not going to survive the next round of combat. Yeah, let's go.
You know what you do though is you charge into something, you leave it with like 1 or 2 wounds left. You grapnel out of there, and then you're set up ready for a bombing run next turn for your ship to fly over them and drop bombs and do mortal wounds and get the battle tactic.
Yeah, it's going to cost you 2 attacks, like 2 soul attacks or 3 pike attacks on Sky ones, but it's
but
a unit of 6. A unit of
still
6 is going to be hard to get all 6 to hit anyway with the 1-inch range. So
and it's still 15-inch shooting attacks with -2 rend. So
that's true. It still has a shooting attack. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
still
that,
good.
we have so much movement shenanigans in
Yes.
the army. Get in and boats, out of boats, back in the next boat.
Yeah.
Grapnel over here, run, fly high. I don't know what.
Okay.
This is fantastic.
Sky Wardens. Vulcanizer pistols went to 3 attacks each.
3 attacks. Yep.
And 12-inch range. The freeze and
yes.
freeze -1
It's
is
9,
the same. The volley guns, grapnels, and drills
All the
are the same as riggers. Sky pikes, still 2-inch range.
Yep,
3 attacks now instead of 2.
Yes.
Freeze and freeze -1 and 2 damage.
Instead of D3, yeah.
Yes. And the champion now gets 1 attack, not 2 extra attacks on the
It always got 1 extra attack.
No, it used to get 2.
The Sky Warden. When I played him, he had 1 extra. I don't know if they changed that, but
Something used to get 2. Oh, maybe I'm getting confused with the rifles and the chemist.
Rifle, the Thunder.
On the Thunders, I mean, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, he gets +2.
Okay, so yeah, they're really good in combat because 3 attacks each is quite a lot. The problem, yeah,
and they have 2-inch reach, so you can play 9, and they all get 2 poke.
They average slightly more damage than riggers, basically, unless you're against something with like a 3+ save or better. 3+ save, and then they're,
Yeah, they're better in combat. They don't have the healing, but they have another fun ability. Time charges has changed. At the end of combat phase, if this unit is within 3 inches of an enemy unit, so you don't kill all of them, and you say, "Oh, this has gone wrong. I might die," or I wanna embark next turn. You can roll a dice on a 2+. Pick 1 enemy unit within 3 inches, suffer D3 mortal wounds, and this unit must retreat. So you just retreat. End of combat. So you can go in, charge, do your damage. It wasn't enough because they are squishy. You don't want to get stuck in combat. Okay, out we go until another D3 models. Sometimes it's even enough to kill that last model standing.
Yeah.
And it doesn't say you need to retreat backwards. You can retreat over them and onto the objective. So that's a fantastic rule.
They did lose their sky mines, but they were.
So that's a big plus. You don't need to glue those onto your balloons because they always break off. I magnetized mine. I magnetized 12 of those.
Yeah, because they just broke off anyway. So that's the easiest way to put them back
on. The tiniest magnets I found. It worked, but it's just leave them off.
Just leave them off now because you don't need them anymore. So that's cool. But yeah, Sky Wardens are good, particularly in Zon, obviously.
In Zon or with Brock, so they have 4 attacks each.
Yeah.
And then because you can always give them an all-out attack. So there's 4 attacks, 2s and 3s.
Oh, one thing I don't know if we mentioned with the riggers is they went to freeze to wound on their swords. They were 2s before.
Yes.
Which is weird because the other guys with swords still 2s to wound. But okay.
Might be a misprint.
Onto boats. Yeah, should we ask? Is it a misprint? Onto boats, and we have the Ironclad, and I've got the abilities on the next screen because there's just too much here. So it's got up to 20 wounds. The carbines are the same. Torpedoes are the same. And they're the only gun that's kept like their long range, or one of the few guns that's kept long range. The shrapnel has changed to 12-inch range, so half the range. But other than that, it's the same. The cannon shell is now 2 attacks, but hits on a 4, and it's D3 plus 3 wounds damage. So it's
wasn't it flat 6?
It was flat 6 before.
Yeah.
but 1 shot. Now you get 2 shots
Yeah,
with
so it's
force
kind
to
of
hit, but force to hit. So
So it's
I
kind
think
of
it
less
averages. It is going to average out the same. The shame is the 30. You don't have the 30-inch threat anymore.
yes.
Okay.
And the Skyhook is the same damage because that was. Oh no, where's that flat 6? I can't remember.
It was also.
Yeah,
It
that
was
was
also
D6.
flat 6 on the
Yeah,
Ironclad.
but that's yes, but that's D6. But 2 attacks hit on 4s now rather than 1 on 3s.
It can be
Um,
flat 6 still if you shoot a monster.
if you shoot a monster.
Yes. Okay.
2 shots flat 6 against monsters is not bad. Yeah.
Okay. So all of the ships have bomb racks.
And the
so I'm just
Great
gonna-
Volley Cannon didn't change at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is fine.
So
Okay.
I will be keeping my volley cannons on my Ironclads.
So let's explain how bomb racks work first, because they're on all the ships. So after the unit finishes the normal move or a run, you can pick one enemy unit that it passed across and roll a number of dice equal to the bomb rack's value, which for the Ironclad starts off at 10. And you don't degrade until you've taken more than 9 wounds.
Yeah, that's very good.
Which is cool. And then for each 4+, the enemy unit suffers 1 more wound, so on average 5.
Yep.
So 5 more wounds, that's really good. And it has no effect on units that can fly. You can't drop bombs on flying units.
Can't bomb a Nighthorn army.
Ooh.
No. Yeah.
That's all right.
So there's that. So that happens for all the boats, but they all have different bomb racks values, so they drop different numbers of bombs. It has a transport vessel keyword, and it can carry up to 22 Skyfarers. And there's none of this like, oh, half movement if you've got over a certain amount.
Yep.
You just carry one number,
Yep.
which is much easier to explain to people.
Yep.
So that's cool-ish. Like, it's better than what it could be as standard, but I kind of liked when you could have, like, there are a lot of times when you'd like to have 20 guys in there and 3 heroes, which you can't do.
Oh well.
Yeah.
So it's a shame.
But 22 without being half moved is worth it.
Pretty good. Yeah. The Great Sky Cannon ability, it's the same. It's just you pick which one to use. The Supremacy Mine is back.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Happy to see that.
Once per battle, at the end of the enemy charge phase, you can say that you will drop the Supremacy Mine. If you do so, pick one enemy unit within 3 inches and roll a dice. It's not one enemy unit that charged, just one enemy unit within 3 inches. And roll a dice. At the end of the turn, on a 2+, that enemy unit suffers a number of mortal wounds equal to the rolls. It's basically D6, but you can't roll a 1.
So you charge them, and then you drop a Supremacy Mine.
No,
enemy charge phase, but they can't get around it by, not charging. Or
once we're at the end of enemy charge phase, you can say it's a drop in Supremacy Mine. So it's just I'm in combat. Enemies turn.
Yes.
No one charged. I just drop a bomb.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So, like, you can charge in on your turn, then it's your opponent's turn next turn, and then at the end of the charge phase, before they do any combat, you can drop 2d6 more wounds to them.
Basically, they go, it's the end of the charge phase, they go, monster action to stomp, D3 mortal wounds. I'm like, cool. Monster action to stomp, D6 mortal wounds.
Yes. And it's on a 2+. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you also have Bulwarks of Iron, which is the thing that makes it count as 5 models on an objective. And then a thing for Skyhooks, which is basically it's 6 damage if the attack is a monster, if it targets a monster.
Yeah, and then if a monster doesn't die on a 4-up, it's snagged, which means no monster's action.
Yes.
Unfortunately, do you know what the Ironclad didn't gain? Remember what I said in the wish listing show?
Yeah.
It doesn't have totem, trash book. It can't. It's a flagship, and it can't issue orders to other ships.
No, just
it has
itself.
A signaling guy.
It can't even issue all. It can't even issue all command abilities to itself. Only the 3 Iron Sky command ones, so it can't issue all that defensive stuff. So you still need to have heroes around.
That's a shame.
Redeploy.
The other thing is with the Ironclad is you can combine it with the last word and unleash hell. So you can unleash hell, last word, supremacy mine.
But only
Uh,
if it has an admiral near it. Or
Yeah.
some other hero that gives it an order. It's not even elite. It can't even give itself orders, let alone
Yeah,
other boats.
that's a miss, but okay.
Yeah.
And it's the only ship that degrades its movement.
Yes. So what else it degrades is the boarding weapons, which no one cares about because they're rubbish.
Yep.
They might as well not be there. To be honest, 8 attacks.
I
4s and
mean,
4s in a
it's
row.
8 attacks. You might get 1 or 2 through.
We'll do 1 or 2.
You know what you
damage.
do if you charge in the Ironclad and Brock's around is you get +1 attack.
They're fantastic.
No, Brock works on Skyfarers specifically.
Oh yeah. Oh right. Because
You-
one
you know-
extra
what
extra
is it?
attack 4s and 4s would be too good.
Best thing about this is
Yeah.
before you needed to deal 7 wounds before it couldn't fly high because you healed 1 back.
Yeah.
Now you need to deal 20.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's an improvement, and the weapons don't get worse. The shooting weapons, so
Yeah.
much
That's
better
good.
now. Much better.
But the shooting weapons never got worse anyway. But
No,
that's the
but
thing they could
no,
have done.
you
isn't
couldn't get them to where they were needed.
it? Yeah.
So yeah, much better now.
Okay.
Frigate.
Frigate. So the frigate carbines are the same. The shrapnel I feel like is changed because it used to be D6 attacks and now it's 5.
Now it's 5. That's good.
Which
so
is
basically,
much
you
better.
have 9 carbine shots. Yeah.
Yeah. The cannon shell got the same treatment as the Ironclad.
But it's D3 plus 2 instead of plus 3.
Yes, D3 plus 2. But before it was D6, so D3 plus 2 is on average better, especially with it being 2 attacks. And the skyhook's the same, and it's got the
same rule.
Yeah, the same rule, but I haven't included it on here because it's the same. Oh no, I have got it on there. Oh well, never mind. It carries 12, which is good because it used to carry 10.
Yeah, so 10 and heroes, or you can have 2 units of 6 Skywardens or Endrinworks.
Mm-hmm.
And it has 8 bomb racks instead of 10. So that's pretty good.
Yes, it doesn't degrade until it's taken 5, which is okay. And it has 15 wounds now rather than 14 with a free up save.
And it has a free up save.
Yeah.
That's the biggest bonus. And then it has a special ability. Assault.
The assault boat. Yes, this is why you take the frigate.
This
is why you take the
frigate.
The frigate finishes a charge move. You pick one enemy unit within 1 inches. And roll a number of dice equal to the ramming die. So you start with 8. For each 4+, you deal a mortal wound. So in addition to the bombs you drop on what you fly over, now you do another, on average, 4 mortal wounds when ramming in. So unfortunately, it's not the battle ram. So it doesn't go off your charge roll. It's just flat 8. Might be better, might be worse. I don't know. And then it comes a bit the interesting part. Any friendly units embarked in this ship can disembark into combat. They must be set up within 3 inches of an enemy unit. So actually,
they can't disembark out of combat.
They count as having made a charge move, even if they're now outside, not inside. And in addition, everyone that disembark gets the strike first. The ship doesn't get strike first, but who cares with 6 boarding weapons? But everyone that disembarked, and this is how you get boys onto objectives, into units, and you kill them. We have seen how good Skywardens are, how good Endrinworks are, how good Brock is, even Admirals, Endrin Masters, anyone. And they all get to strike first. They charge. If your barg's on, they get the bonus. Or if you have Brock there, he broadcasts his bonus. So, fantastic. Best rule. That's why frigates are gold.
And so what you can do with this is you can basically play 2nd edition IDK. Because you just basically be like, right, this turn, all of my stuff attacks first, and you just play barracks on, and you just play all the boom boys in combat.
Better. You're running, you're shooting, you're 3d6 charging, you're running with +2 or plus, I don't know, you run with 2d6, Everyone charges. Everyone gets to strike first. Everyone gets extra attacks from charging. Yeah, this is IDK eels.
Yes.
Eel spam with Returnals.
Yeah, the difficulty is the positioning of when you get the guys out the boat, because they've got to be within 3 inches of an enemy.
Yeah.
And wholly within 3 inches of the ship. And
so don't point your ship
forwards.
Base
You got
of the
to
ship.
Tokyo drifting.
Don't go in like this. But go in like, I think like this. This is a good
An angle. Yeah, you don't want to be straight on, because then you've got that space
angle.
there.
So this area over here is where you
Yeah.
can set up units and on the front. Because if you go this, then you only have a very small area.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta drift that boat, park it
Mhm.
sideways
Mhm.
into the unit.
Yeah, or try and get into the gap between 2 different units, and then that's pretty cool. You can get in there. Yeah, so frigates are really good. And then, last but not least, we had the Gunhauler. So the carbines have got better, because they used to be damage 1.
And wounding on 4s.
But they weren't on 4s before.
Yeah.
Why? So anyway, they
was
brought
it?
them in line with the other ships.
Because it's
which is
just
good.
the small gun that the driver has, I think.
It's very small.
But anyway, yeah. So they brought the Gunhaulers carbines in line with the other ones, which is good. The shrapnel is 4 attacks, which is what it was. So that's the same.
No, it used to be D6 shots. Now it's 4. That's much better.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I thought it was 4. But has gone down to 12-inch range, just like we should have mentioned that
from
frigate
18,
as well.
yeah.
And the cannon shell is D3 plus 1 damage. It's got the 4 plus to hit and the 2 attacks treatment.
Yeah.
But it used to be 1 shot with D6 damage. So yeah.
Yes.
And the drill cannon
yeah,
still is
24.
D3 damage or 3 mortal wounds if you roll a 5+.
But the drill cannon used to be 30 inches. Now it's only
It used to be 36. So it's
36, yeah.
lost 12-inch range.
Hmm.
So when people, like, I've had people say, when I said about like the shooting ranges going down, people say, "Oh no, it's about the same." It's like one gun lost 12 inches range. That's not about the same.
Yeah, but the board got smaller since the last book came out. So.
Yeah, but we've been playing on that board. Like,
yeah.
Okay.
So boarding weapons the same. Free up save. That's the big news.
Yeah, because it had a 5 up before.
4 up.
No, the Gunhaul had a 5 up, didn't it?
4 up. Pretty sure as a 4.
Because it was 3 up for the. It was 1 different on each ship.
No. That's why frigates were so bad, because you just take 2 Gunhaulers and they were better. Everyone checking.
Everyone just double checking. 4 up. Okay, I'm wrong. So it's only got 1 better, but still it's better.
But that's pretty good. No, it still has your head full, so you can add 6.
No wonder my Gunhaulers kept dying.
Start of the movement phase, you can say once per game, I wanna use my NOS and add 6 inches.
Mm-hmm.
If you take the article, that's always a +2, so you're flying 20 inches. And then if you have the spire torpedo, for example, or you have people inside, you can trudge in and they can fight. Not strike first, but they can fight.
That's
again, units within 3 inches get a 6 up ward over sky vessels, not units. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same. Drill cannon 5 up, 3 mortal wounds. That's the same. And you need to choose your shot. And this boat has basically, it's a lot of text to say it has 4 bombs.
Yes. Yeah, 4 bombs, so 2 more wins on average.
Which is fair enough for a small boat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think that's everyone.
That's everything. I think that's everything. Yes, it's the last slide. Good, because we've gone on for 3 hours and 8 minutes.
Okay, now lists.
Okay,
that's a different show. Yeah,
I mean, the list.
That's a lot.
I mean, we can basically say the lists are you take Barrett and you deliver Thunderers by using the commands, and you get them out and you put rend on them and you basically do deploy and destroy.
That's one list that you can do. And I'm not even sure it's the best list.
Yes, you can do Zon, where you basically charge in a frigate and a load of wardens, and you get you just
one frigate.
Well, maybe a frigate and a gun hauler,
Multiple
maybe multiple frigates, maybe 2 frigates.
Multiple
and a gun hauler.
frigates
Many
with
frigates.
balloons. You can
Yes.
play 2 Ironclads in Fring or in Nar. You can still do Purple Sun. It's a bit harder to deliver, but you can do that build with Ren stacking on Thunderers with Ren 4 is no problem.
Yeah, and both
there's a lot of options.
Yeah, both
There will
Zon
be-
and Nar, you can also do a more balanced thing where you take some melee and some shooting.
Yes, I think for singles lists you will have maybe 1 assault boat, 1 frigate with people inside to go fighty on objectives, and then you will have another boat or other units that can do pew pew.
Yeah.
So you have a good balance, which is cool because now we play not only in the shooting phase, but we play in the charge phase and in the combat phase, and in the opponent's movement phase.
Yes, in the opponent's shooting phase.
And the opponent's shooting phase and the
And,
opponent's
and you drop a bomb at the end of your opponent's charge phase.
Yeah, and so yeah, you get much more flexibility. You can mix and match all these rules. I do like the changes.
Well, there's going to be yeah,
there's
going to be a lot of shows with a lot of content after this. There's a lot to talk about, a lot to deep dive into.
Yeah, there is and there isn't. Like, we won't be doing a whole thing, like a whole series on the Skyports like we did in the past, because we probably don't need to, because there's one ability for a Skyport. But
no, we'll see how this book behaves in the wild. If there's an FAQ, we'll might talk about allies or endless spells. Regiments of renown are now a thing. I think there's a few good options that you can do. We'll see more variety. I try to build my existing lists, and I just ran out of points so quickly.
Yes, points are tight.
Points are tight, but it's fun. It's exciting.
Yeah.
All these little notes here. These all little lists. I keep writing these little sheets of paper.
I need to actually write some down because I just keep writing them in my head and then I can't remember.
I keep changing them in my head and then I'm not sure if the points work out or not.
I've just been sketching little lists out.
That'll be the next thing when Warscroll Builder gets updated and you can actually
hopefully, or the app.
Yeah.
Cool.
So thanks, Max and Kron, for helping me go through this for 3 hours.
Pleasure.
Thanks for everyone that joined, got involved in the chat and was talking and stuff. Sorry that we didn't sort of call everything out that's being said, but there were 80, 90 people watching at lots of times, so hard to keep up with that, I'm afraid. But yeah, glad to have everyone watching. If you like the show, please hit like, subscribe for more KO and Age of Sigmar content in the future. Hit that little notification button so you know when we're doing shows. Of course, we will advertise them in WhatsApp and Discord and Facebook. And yeah, if you want to buy some dice and support the show, go get some dice that aren't orange.
Yeah,
and
do that.
Last but not least, comment on the video. Let us know what you think of the changes. What sort of list you're looking at.
Exactly. Go check out all the people who also do content for KO. Get more opinions. These are just our opinions after 5 days with the book. 4 days.
Yeah, 5 days where we've been at work and reading the books on our lunch break.
So listen to the guys from Facehammer. Look out for Warhammer Weekly with Matt. Doing their review soon. AOS Coach, his video with Jeremy will come up in 2 weeks. I'm definitely going to watch that.
Yeah.
And all the other people. I've seen a lot of people doing stats, weapon stats.
The Gamers Manifesto has been doing some stats.
I've seen those.
Check those out. Great content.
Yeah, and last but not least, if you're new to KO and you're not that up to speed on the lore, go check out Too Bus Tough because he's got a great series on KO.
Yes.
And you'll know everything about the lore then. It's
all
cool.
You need to know up to 1 year ago.
Yes. Yeah. Of course, we don't know the lore in this book. What they've changed? Yeah, because we haven't had leaks on that, so that'd be cool.
Will Zilfin
that'd be interesting for me.
prominent
I
Skyport,
still
or
haven't read
it's
the kids lore part. Let's see if there's something new there. Probably just
Might be something about Skyports. You never know.
might be.
Might
Probably
be.
just gonna like that Siege of Excelsis and Kragnos doing his stuff and blah blah blah.
Maybe.
I know the
Might
lore
be.
mentioned Skywarns are now better because they understood they need to go and fight man to man in the era of the
Okay.
beast. I think that was
Okay.
a lore snippet somewhere.
Okay. Well, thanks for watching, everyone, and we will see you again soon. Goodbye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye bye.